Hello and good evening.
I am very excited for this episode. We get to talk about spies and government conspiracies for this episode. Kyle, what's your favorite James Bond movie?
Casino Royale, the new one.
Let's see. I was a big fan of GoldenEye. That's what I like the most.
GoldenEye is a fun movie.
Yeah, we are here today with King Agreed, who's once again invited himself onto the show,
Yep, you know me.
We're allowed to do that?
and we have Storyteller, who's here
Nobody
for the
doesn't
second time.
care. Hello,
Indeed.
Storyteller.
Yep. Storyteller
Pleasure.
is, out of all the guys on our server, he is the one that knows more about Mage Ascension than everyone else that we usually calls a guest. So
That is true.
Yeah, he likes to. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to toot your own horn with this.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely not. I am a massive Mage the Ascension stan. I will say it loud and proud.
Yeah, I really like revised, first edition, revised, and third edition. I cannot stand M20. I can't stand it. And
That's fine.
It's because with the New World Order, we're going to say it. I'm going to say this for you too because you watched the first 2 minutes of every video. This is fictitious. This is not real. We're not conspiracy nuts. We're not
still gonna get
conspiracy nuts.
flagged.
At least
Well,
on
I'm
this
not.
channel. I'm noticing that every single episode that talks about the Technocratic Union has that little like Wikipedia banner article right beneath the video, just like linking to the New World Order and saying this is a conspiracy theory that nobody should take seriously, even though you've got stuff like the WEF promoting the new NWO in the titles of their videos. So when it comes to Mage Ascension with the Technocratic Union, very little needs to be done with your imagination. Like I've been saying with World of the Apocalypse and making Pentex your villain, just read the news. Just read anything going on with news today about the Technocratic Union, and your Werewolf game, your Mage Ascension game, anything that involves mages will write itself. There it is. Reality has become stranger than fiction.
That's been the
that's fun.
truth for several years now.
And but I do like that the NWO is more than just government corruption. It goes further beyond that, because these guys, in terms of the World of Darkness, the Technocratic Union is winning the game, and nobody is doing a better job in the Technocratic Union than the New World Order. These guys are the reason why the Technocracy has made the progress it has. Just hearing that bit at the end, oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's like audio
Everybody
chocolate.
loves
I had to play Snake Eater. It was either this or the James Bond theme.
I was
but
going to
James-
recommend the Men in Black theme song.
I love that too, but
Let me
that's
see you
definitely
nod
gonna
your
get-
head like this.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that was different. Okay, never mind.
As well, we're going to play Mission Impossible 2's theme song. But when it comes to this, if you, the listener, if you, the enthusiast, you want to use the Technocratic Union in your games, please read the original books. We have the original book up on screen right now, which is the one that White Wolf made. The ones that were made by CCP and Onyx Path, I would not recommend those books to anybody. I don't know.
CCP?
It's the same company that made EVE Online. That's their name. And they had the IP for a while. They were going to make a World of Darkness MMO, and then they just scrapped the idea because World of Darkness was just a damn money pit during that time. And they sold it off to Onyx Path and Renegade, and then Renegade Studios drove it into the ground, and now we're here today.
Yep.
Where once again, it's a dead IP that somebody needs to buy the rights to. If I had the money, I would do it myself by this point. But
Galliard Group Patreon by World of Darkness.
see, I'm not giving the globalist any of my money. I'm not taking any money from this either.
You gotta make a deal with the devil to get what you want.
There it is. I'll just use scratch cards like I've been doing.
He's gonna win the lottery and then just
Yeah, well-
buy fucking Werewolf the Apocalypse.
That's
Just
if
buy the
I
World
won
of
the-
Darkness from Hasbro.
If I won the lottery, I would buy the rights to World of Darkness, Earthworm Jim, and Fat Albert as well. I would buy the rights to.
Okay.
Why Fat
That's what we-
Albert?
The plan is to reintroduce it as bodily diverse Albert, and then I make a Netflix show with that, and then make $1 million trillion off of that.
You're a monster.
There it
I
is.
want
That's funny.
You
as
forgot one
shit.
thing. As your company burns because your demo says you jump on to another company.
Mhm. That's what you do. That's what fucking Stephen Wack did with White Wolf. But enough about him. Let's get into this. So, the New World Order history, it's relative. The New World Order themselves say history is relative. We just make up the story how we see fit. He who controls the present controls the past, and who controls the past controls the future. So, the New World Order, everything they've done, they have scrubbed it. There is nothing bad has ever happened in this group. Nothing evil has ever happened. This group has only ever won and done good things for everyone, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's all they've ever done.
Oh wow, all the good guys in history have won every single war. What are the odds?
There it is, and we are the guys that made it possible. As they heroically put their hands on their hips and push up their chests as the glorious knights in shining armor that they are.
Yeah.
Wait, did it glitch out?
What are you
No.
talking about? Let's keep going. That's on your end. Let's keep going. As how did this group start? Now, Kyle, whenever I bring up the Illuminati, who do I also tend to bring up with that?
With the Illuminati?
Yeah, where their opponent being who?
Oh, the opposition
They're-
to the Illuminati?
They are Masons, and they
Oh, those
consider themselves to-
Freemasons, yeah.
Yeah, that. But before they were that, they were the Knights Templar, where they were 12 knights back in the ye old Middle Ages that looked at the World of Darkness and saw what was going on with Clan Bruja and the Zamichi and Volsombra. Fitting that we just did the Anarchs episode before we did this. So those events directly correlate to the Knights Templar forming and the New World Order. So once again, Clan Bruja contributing nothing to society as usual.
Well, they do
And-
contribute, just not in a positive way.
The way you can contribute is by staking yourselves and feeding yourselves to the Assamites. That's the one thing
episode.
that's the only thing that Clan Bruja can do for us. So the Knights Templar was a group of 12 knights in the World of Darkness that decided that we need to save the world from these vampires that want to devour everybody. And they were doing that, and eventually the group would gain influence. Some knights died, they got more knights to take their place. This continued from the 12th century and on and on and on until I believe the year is 1325 when they rebrand themselves as the Cabal of Pure Thought. That sounds trustworthy, doesn't it?
I'm
Mhm.
sure they're fine.
The Cabal of Pure Thought. What do you assume this group did?
Purge heretics.
That's exactly what they did. You got the answer right. They were this group that said, if you're a witch, if you're a vampire, we are coming to kill you. It was another name for the Inquisition. You remember how we talked how the Inquisition and the Anarch Revolt was split between two different groups? One of those groups being the Society of Leopold. This was the other group.
Yes,
what this
they
was.
were broken off from the. Let me think here. The Celestial Course.
Yeah, where they had a lot of similar thoughts to this list, of course. They said, we want to create a shining city on the hill. We believe that everybody should be Catholic. Everybody needs to go to church. Everybody needs to follow these laws. Everybody needs to have sex for reproduction purposes only. Everyone needs to give us money. Everyone needs to serve the state when the state needs to be served. And behold, it was a glorious, beautiful, alt-right empire. They were firmly stuck in that blue square on the political compass. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Give or take a
You're
couple
gonna
of
notice
innocent women hung or burned at the stake in the town square every couple of weeks, but you know.
it was a sacrifice that needed to be done.
Hey, those winters were cold. You had to keep warm somehow.
There
That's
it is.
true.
It's better for you to die than join the Verbena.
Yeah, do not join the Verbena, trust me.
Do not. They will drain the semen out of you and then sacrifice you.
And not the fun way either.
Yeah, it's absolute pain, agony, and misery. I'm going to spend the entire episode on the Verbena, just shitting on the Verbena.
Oh boy.
I can't wait to hate on these guys. As well, after that, the New World Order is doing. Oh, sorry, the Cabal of Pure Thought is doing fine. And Kyle, how powerful was the church during the Middle Ages?
Basically, bend the knee to the church or die.
Yeah, they decided who was going to be king, who's the king's successor was going to be. They could excommunicate you, completely destroy your life if you didn't go along with what they were saying. The La Sombra want to claim they did all of this? No, it was these guys. The La Sombra. When was the last time I remember the La Sombra told you the truth? What was the last time? Yeah.
God, let's hear. When was Lucifer in power? I think it was like the first time he set foot on Earth. Maybe
Yeah.
that was when.
I don't know. What about Geronimo Baseggio?
There it is. But even that guy has some stuff that he's not telling you.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, he's like, hey, the Camarilla are, doing this blood sacrifice thing. You should probably go stop them. And we're like, bet, we should go do that.
Mm-hmm. He
Oh
didn't
shit,
tell.
those are got hands.
Yeah, he didn't tell you what risk were going to be involved though.
He did not, but we understood that there were going to be them. It hadn't been any different for the past, couple of nights that we were together as a coterie.
Yeah. Eventually, the Cabal of Pure Thought would come into contact with other like-minded individuals, where we would know them today as the Technocratic Union, but back in the day, they were the Order of Reason. That's what we called them. And you want to go over like the old names of all these different conventions?
Ooh, give me a second. I actually have a physical copy of Mage the Ascension Dark Ages in my hands right now. That's how far I'm in.
Yeah, these names. Let me name off. Back in the day, you had the let's see, they would what? Yeah, yes, give it to us.
We have ourselves the Artificers, or the High Artisan. We have our boys, the Cabal of Pure Thought, or the Gabrielites. We have the Celestial Masters, the Craft Mason, the High Guild, or the Grand Financiers, the Hippocratic Circle, or the Cossians, and the Kisarafi. They don't really look all that friendly. This guy looks like he's wearing a death mask and he's about to stab someone.
And they would eventually fall off.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about those guys. And then, of course, our boys, the Void Seekers, or the Explorators.
And this was your original group of the Order of Reason, and they decided, we want to form a group that's going to protect humanity from all of these supernaturals, and we want to create a pure future of humanity and only humanity, no gods, no kings, just man.
And they were right.
Okay, fucking Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what they were doing. They were doing what the Emperor of Mankind was doing. That was the original intention. And the Cabal of Pure Thought was saying, can we keep God in that, please? He said, oh, sure. God is doing a lot of good for us. If God did not exist, a rich man would seek to invent God in order to profit off of him. Behold, I will tip my fedora to that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The Order of Reason will be okay. Religions, just the religions they approve of.
That as long as we have Christianity and only that, but all the Jews, all the Muslims, all everyone else, I'm sorry, you're going to have to spend some time in prison. You're going to have to renounce your faith, and then we'll let you out. There's a ye old time in the Cabal of Pure Thought. They definitely did nothing wrong. They have nothing wrong in their history. Kyle, what eventually would take away the Catholic Church's power?
That would be, well, it was a couple of different things. It was the,
well, the schism already happened by this point.
Well, yeah, there was that, and then there was the bubonic plague, and then there was the, rise of mercantilism. Well, that not necessarily. Let me think.
You will notice that these guys will butt heads with the syndicate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like they mentioned that in the book, but
one Martin Luther.
Oh yeah, the Protestant Reformation,
where a man comes up and says, "I think the Catholic Church is full of shit," and posts his list of grievances on this church wall, and then he's excommunicated, and he says, "Okay, big deal. Excommunicate me. See what happens, bish." And before you knew it, everybody started leaving the Catholic Church, joined this new Protestant movement, and in doing so, we eventually have something called the Enlightenment, right? Where it seems like one guy, Immanuel Kant, had to post his stupid ideas in a book, and then everybody said, I don't think God's real anymore. I think that I need to do a self-sustaining future where religion is no longer the center of my life, and I'm just going to go about my life the way that I want to and come up with my own purposes and my own goals. And slowly but surely, the Cabal of Pure Thought started to fall out of style. By this point, it was the very early 1800s, and the rest of the Order of Reason walked over to them and said, all right, look, it's cool that you want to do this whole God thing, but look, dude, it's 1830. Nobody's going to church anymore. Nobody really cares about this whole God thing that you're doing. We're just going to close up shop on God. We're just going to write God out of consensus.
Good luck with
funny.
that.
That's funny. That's funny.
And we're going to say in our new world that God does not exist, and we just emerged from molecules and evolved from monkeys, and that will be what is in consensus. And the Cabal of Pure Thought with a heavy head said, all right, let's hang up the Pope hats, we'll hang up the robes, and we'll put on our best black suits instead and our best ties, and we will become known as the Light Keepers. And they had a little lighthouse as their icon. I actually really do like this icon. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Very
Post the icon. I want to see it.
Post the icon. Kyle, pull up the icon there. Here's your icon.
All right,
Let me see
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
there we
like
go.
it. That's actually rather cool.
Yeah, it's very aesthetically pleasing. You also notice like it forms like a little like street going down to like the shining city on the hill.
Kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say as much you want about Old White Wolf. They made good. Yeah, they made good of images, idols.
Yeah.
The art was very nice.
They did a lot of studying iconography.
No
Also
gods
notice
or
that it's a
kings,
downward-
only men. Fucking
It's a
logo.
Also notice it's a downward pointed triangle. It's a guillotine. It's going to cut off the head of anyone that doesn't go along with the idea.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. Cole, no gods, only kings.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No gods, no kings.
Only man.
Only man.
Only man.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking Bioshock looking head ass.
And Andrew Ryan intensifies. Well, it's a lighthouse and everything.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew Ryan is a technocrat, so yeah.
Well, there we go. The next Mage Ascension game just wrote itself.
Yeah. I mean, there are underwater cities down there. So
There are.
I mean,
They are.
The Sons of Ether made them.
in the game, by the way, YouTube, I'm not like on a conspiracy end. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just make believe.
We know you're talking about World of Darkness. There are underwater cities. Nobody goes
We
there.
had nuclear submarines in the 1950s. We have a city by this point. Wasn't it there a guy out in Thailand that was actually building one? Let's see, I'm pulling this up right now. Let's see, I'm gonna prove to you that this is a thing. Let's see, in what was it? In Lily, they're making it. Well, there actually is one. It's like Baya, which is a city that suck up. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, we're spending too much time on this. I'll post the link in the comments down below.
Very well.
But the Light Keepers were... We don't need to spend that much time on them, but they would essentially set up what the modern NWO would become. You had 3 guilds in the Light Keepers. The Lantern, the Lighthouse, and the Torch. The Lighthouse would look over everyone, look over the citizens, make sure that we're luring people to the Shining City. We will control the teachers, the scholars, the universities, all information, all written text, all books. Everything will be controlled by us. They say that they sponsored Johann Gutenberg and made sure they got the printing press made so they could distribute the Bible in hopes of controlling the masses through religion. They say that in the original book. Along with that, they said they also sponsored Leonardo da Vinci and all these other guys. They said Benjamin Franklin, Isaac Newton. I'm not familiar with these guys. Copernicus, Weishaupt?
Wait,
and
how? What?
Yeah. Weisshaupt.
Weishaupt?
Yes. What does this guy do again?
I don't know, actually.
See.
I can look it up, actually. Let me check.
I'm getting results for Dragon Age. I'm not getting the actual guy. See. No, it's because we're not doing the silly B in the middle of the words.
No,
okay,
that's not a B. That's an S set. That's 2 S's.
I'm getting a football player and a Swiss rower, but this is not the guy we're looking for.
There
he is. Okay, I found him. Adam Weishaupt, Johann Adam Weishaupt was the German philosopher and the actual founder of the real life Illuminati is who he is. Oh,
cool.
So you're telling me this isn't a conspiracy? It's actually real?
World of Darkness is not fiction. It's actually a documentary.
So they take credit for all these guys being made, and the Lighthouse are propping all these guys up, getting them out there. The Lanterns are going around making sure that the city is actually functioning. Nobody's trying to destroy the city from within. And the Torches are going outside the city, making sure nothing that isn't supposed to get into the city gets into the city, which would, of course, be what we would know today as the Watchers, the Operatives, and the Ivory Tower. Not respectively, but... then come 1851, the Light Keepers are doing what they're supposed to, and Queen Victoria shows up and says, "Hey, I found these guys. They're called the Skeleton Keys. They were doing the exact same thing that you were doing, but they just didn't know that you existed. They're a part of you now."
But I don't wanna.
It was as simple as that. They got absorbed into the Technocratic Union. And with this, the New World Order is looking around saying, "We just got a lot of members for free. It seems that Queen Victoria really likes us. We need to start forming an end game here. We have the keys to the kingdom. We got handed the skeleton keys." And so they start thinking. We have an event in Mage Ascension called the Great House Cleaning, right?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
Where
Basically,
one Reginald Proctor of the Syndicate, for some reason they came to him about this and said, "We are going to come over and convince the Queen of England that we need to create a global empire, that we need to get rid of diversity, we need to include everybody needs to exist under one flag, one language, one currency, one everything, and it'll be a single kingdom that will last forever. And nobody will ever want to leave it." And Queen Victoria says, "It sounds pretty cool, but I need to think about this." And then 1897, 4 years before Queen Victoria's death, one Basil Rathbone of the Skeleton Keys would come over, lay out this whole plot about how we're going to take over the world, and it'll be the New World Order that will oversee the operation. Queen Victoria said, "You have infinite resources, and it will be my empire that does it." And behold, the Technocracy formed out of the Order of Reason. They're no longer called the Order of Reason. They're the Technocratic Union now.
Hold on. Basil Rathbone, as in the guy who played oh god, what was his name?
Yeah.
He played Sheriff what the fuck was his name?
You know this.
From Robin Hood.
Let's see. Basil Rathbone.
Yeah.
Yale's probably the same guy.
I mean, I don't know how. The guy was born in 1892, unless it's a reincarnation. But...
Well, this is a game that has time travel as a spell.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Plus, that was probably back in the time when that stuff was a lot easier to do.
And you won't get the shit torn out of you with Paradox.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Technocratic Union would be known as the Electrodyne Engineers, Iteration X, the Ivory Tower. The Light Keepers once again changed their name to the Ivory Tower. Eventually they would become the New World Order, but not just yet. The Progenitors, the Syndicate, the Virtual Adepts, and the Void Engineers. And it was the Ivory Tower that oversaw all operations. They said, "We are going to keep everybody in check. We're going to send you a weekly letter saying, what have you accomplished this week? If you're doing well, then good on you. If you're doing poorly, we'll send you to a re-education camp, get you back on track. We don't want to fire you. You know too much. But if we do need to fire you, we'll just write your entire existence off consensus." Easy as that. And they're doing pretty well. 1904 comes around. They're doing well for themselves. And then the New World Order decides, hey, into Iteration X, I don't think ether's real. And the Electrodyne engineer said, "Well, what are you talking about? Of course ether's real. Prove it." And so they do the Michelson-Morse experiment. They sabotage the experiment. The Electrodyne engineers throw a stink about it, and then they quit the Technocratic Union and just go off and join the Traditions. Well, they weren't really contributing anything to begin with. So, and then one Tsar Vargo, which is the big-lipped alligator moment of Mage Ascension. This guy pops out, who's an Electrodyne engineer, they're known today as the Sons of Ether. He takes over all of Europe with his robots, and he says, "I am the new god of Europe. I'm the new king. I'm the Tsar. And I say that all of you need to stop doing what you're doing and do what I say." And the New World Order and Iteration X scrambled to try to fight this guy and contain him. And yeah, they did. And then Tsar Vargo created so much paradox that he wrote himself out of existence.
Dumbass.
And
what?
And
I'm pretty sure he's still around.
Yeah, he's in the Umbra, but he can't come out into the real world. He's going to get caught by that paradox spirit. And he's going to get destroyed.
The paradox police are going to break his knuckles, his knees.
So paradox removed him from existence in the material plane. Like, nobody remembers that he exists. There is no record on Tsar Vargo, and the New World Order looks at themselves and say, "Well, that happened. back to what we
Anyway,
were doing. And it's so weird with the plot point of Czar Vargo because it pops up and then it's mentioned and then it's never mentioned again anywhere in Mage. It happens and then it affects nothing.
it's hilarious considering that there is just so much you could do with a war that supposedly never happened with a guy who just took over all of Europe with Terminators and blimps.
Yeah, during the time of World War One is when this happened.
Yeah.
And speaking of World War One, what did England look like after that war ended?
Pretty
What
fucked
war?
up, but still actually
Oh,
stable.
no, World War One.
Yeah, it was World War One, and they were looking over at England saying that, yeah, we promised Queen Victoria that we were going to use her empire to take over the world. But looking at this, India's leaving, Australia's leaving, New Zealand's leaving. We've never got control back over of America. Yeah, Queen Victoria's not alive either. Is there another country that's getting back on their feet after this war, getting somewhere?
Oh,
And they're
no.
thinking to themselves, well, all of Europe kind of sucks right now. No. So they're all just sitting around waiting for a country to get shit back together. And they're looking at America, they're thinking about it, but nah, it's America. We don't want to go over there. Now, what politician during the 1930s brought his country back from the ashes, had the Olympics in his country, looked like a great guy that was going to influence everybody. He was coming up with all the roads, all the rockets, all the guns, all the economics, all the cars. He looked like just a swell guy. He had a little Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Yeah, he had a silly little mustache. What's the worst he could do?
Yeah. And the New World Order looks at them and says, that man, we're going to give that man all of our money and all of our resources. We're going to prop him up and make sure that his country does as well as possible. Because we're looking over at Russia and we think that's pretty stupid. So, Joseph Stalin, dumb. Adolf Hitler, let's all the money, please. And what did that return on the investment look like?
The Effendi hurt a lot of people. The
Yes.
Effendi hurt. We ain't going over this, but during World War II, it was not good to be a mage.
It was not. It was not. Then Effendi, this was their rise to power in Mage Ascension. You remember how Carnal Houses of Europe wants to say that the Holocaust was entirely human? It's the same book, same series that forgets that Effendi existed.
Yeah, it's basically saying all these atrocities were made by humans, but it never said anything. There's not a magical war happening as well.
It's definitely not like the Nefandi were the fool society that were influencing everything that was going on in Germany during this time. That definitely wasn't a thing. And neither was the New World Order's involvement, because after World War II, they just swept everything they did under the rug. They said, nope, we never gave Hitler money. We never got involved in this Holocaust business. We never actually went along with this anti-Semitism. What are you talking about? Do you need to be sent to a re-education camp?
We love Jews.
Yeah, we definitely didn't do anything. Oh, some of our best friends are Jewish. We definitely didn't get involved in this and just memory hold their own faction out of their own involvement, and then just looked over and said, okay, it didn't work with that guy. Who else is going to take over? And the books never really answer who they're trying to back at this point. They go into the Cold War, but so much of the Cold War is spent in the revised book, just the New World Order bickering with the progenitors and Iteration X, and I feel like we're missing something here. Because between America and Russia, who do you think the NWO supported?
America.
What do you think?
Both.
Kyle, what about you?
Probably America.
I'm gonna say America too, because
you read the book, so
yeah. Where you look over at Harry Truman and like they want to help with the guys that made the nuke first, not the guys who stole the designs from America. And you look at everything that was going on this time. Where you look at everything that was going on, the CIA beat the KGB in the warfare of espionage. And you guys remember the United Fruit Company? You know the term Banana Republic?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
So deadass. The CIA was going over to all these different dictators in South and Central America saying, we will pay you a shitload of money if you let us completely own you. And you just do everything you can to reject communism. You just deny communism. It's a terrible idea. And our guys, for doing so, our way of staying in contact with you is that we'll create a fruit company that basically controls the entirety of this continent and will make a fortune selling bananas. And that's the term was for it.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah,
bananas do kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
They're good.
I would go to war for a
banana.
I would fight a man for a good potassium filled banana.
Yeah. And during this whole Cold War Section 2, we were playing Snake Eater earlier. Kyle, Metal Gear Solid 3, you are playing as a New World Order agent the entire game.
Oh, is that Snake?
Yeah, that is a perfect Mage Ascension Chronicle if you're playing the MWO. Where
I was being used the whole time. How could I?
That's exactly it. You invade Russia, you steal all their money, and then you come back and you make America the strongest country in the world. And that's how your Chronicle ends.
Excellent work.
And you look into everything too, like just the entirety of the Metal Gear Solid series. You can just use that as reference for the NWO.
Yeah, I'll be honest here. I never someone used the reference of the NWO, but spies. But now that you say it, I can see it. I definitely can see it now.
Yeah. Because you look at was it like James Bond in all of his movies, how he's directly working with MI6, and you have Get Smart with Maxwell Smart, and he's working for Control, which is just like a knockoff of the CIA. Just name a spy movie, and you have your reference for the NWO.
Yeah, fun fact: James Bond was actually based on a real person.
James Bond, I love those movies. My dad's a big fan of James Bond. He's seen all of them. Meanwhile, during the Cold War, the virtual adepts are looking over at the Iteration X, and said, "You just killed Alan Turing. You just assassinated him." And then they quit and left for the traditions. Now you may be wondering, why did I bring that up? Well, it's because the revised NWO book brings it up. An event that it had nothing to do with takes up an entire page.
Well, I mean, Alan Turing was a revolutionary computer scientist at the time.
Yeah. And he wanted to create virtual reality and have everybody upload their brains to a computer and Mage Ascension.
So, wait, was Alan Turing Iteration X or was he Virtual Adept?
Virtual Adept.
That's what I thought.
And he got assassinated by Iteration X. And really, the book kind of fizzles out by this point because the history kind of stops at the Cold War. And then you look at the revised book and it said, hey, the dimensional anomaly, the Avatar Storm, that wiped out our space bases and our orbital bases, and now we're just trying to rebuild. And then 9/11 happened, and the New World Order took advantage of 9/11 and just used it to seize as much control as possible. And George H.W. Bush was a puppet the entire time.
That tracks.
Yes. And then they forgot to mention the even bigger puppet, Barack Obama, but we're not going to get into that. Wink,
oh
wink.
no, we're gonna get this channel deleted now.
What happened to hold on? What happened to the Chad president, Roosevelt? He was a Chad president.
The Chad president. There are no more Chads anymore.
I don't know. Sean would have some shit to say about that.
Yeah. You got Malay down here in Argentina, this radical reality deviant, and they're trying to get him back in control. But really, the book just kind of ends there, and the history doesn't go anywhere. Where you look at today and what, like, the whole shadow government, the deep state stuff, we got people like talking like InfoWars about the shit. And I think the New World Order has stopped operating in the shadows in Mage Ascension and is now going out and doing this stuff in public because they're so close to their idea of Mass Ascension. What's their idea of Mass Ascension? Complete control. They want one people, one government, one currency, one identity. That's it. That's our idea of what Mass Ascension is going to be. If you globalize, that is what Mass Ascension will be. So, who can we name? Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab,
Jeff Bezos.
Kyle, you got a few names in there.
Bill Gates,
Elon Musk,
Justin Trudeau,
George Soros.
Yeah, it's a lot of games you can go off of, right?
Yep.
The World Economic Forum,
John Podesta.
Yeah, the New World Order has a real hard-on for communism.
Yeah. Where they think it's a stupid idea, but it's really good at convincing people.
It is.
Where
it
you
is.
just
Look at the fucking brouhaha.
Yeah, you look at all these people that like are scorned by capitalism, and you think that the idea of just tearing the whole system down and sharing everything is going to be your solution to that, you're full of shit if you think that's going to work.
Well, no, because then all the people that instrumented that is going to do what usually happens in a revolution of sorts and put themselves on top of everybody else.
It's like the dumb people who want to get rid of the police because a police officer did something bad. Guess what? Everyone, there's always a bad apple. Doesn't mean you have to destroy the whole system.
And now you got a terrorism epidemic. We saw that happen at the start of the year in New Orleans.
I mean, fucking look at New York right now.
Look at New York, look at Los Angeles, look at Minneapolis. You got all these cities are in fucking shit right now.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't live in New York.
What a brilliant idea these policies were. But the New World Order, they plant those ideas in you and just let you tear each other's throats out. They say as long as humanity are fighting each other, that's good. Because we want to protect you from the bumps in the night, but we don't want you to know that we're doing this. We're doing this to protect you, right? Even though we're laying stuff like pedophile rings happening in the government and all this other shit go on.
And Pentex.
That's Pentex. They know about Pentex. They let Pentex operate. And they have no intention to stop
in the
them.
book, they do give Pentex their robots and some shit. They do give their shit out to Pentex more than
they broker that shit to Pentex. The progenitors sell their stuff to Pentex, and Pentex makes it worse through Magadon.
Mm-hmm.
And they know all this stuff is going on. They know all the hordes of humanity, but they're not concerned with it. They're more interested in containing, tagging, and killing all supernaturals. That's what they want to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Kyle, how evil are these people?
I want to kill them all.
As a werewolf, you look at these guys as a human and you think, if you were a human character in the World of Darkness, you would look at the NWO and you would think that these guys are the good guys because, after all, vampires are trying to kill you, werewolves are trying to subjugate you, mages are trying to push their ideas onto you. In Orpheus, there's this entire underworld that's trying to take over the world and kill everybody. And actually, there's nothing wrong with the changelings.
Yeah, changelings are cool, just so long as you keep to the Seelie court.
And then you have stuff like Demon the Fallen in the mix too. And they're saying, we're here to protect you from all that. We're here to make sure that none of that kills you. But as a supernatural, and you look at this, these guys are irredeemably evil in your eyes.
Second only to the Nefandi.
As a human, they're irredeemably evil.
Because they just want to control you. They just want to tell you what to do. They want to get rid of your cultural identity. They want to get rid of what makes you unique and want you to live under one global banner.
Exactly. I'd rather become kinfolk than join the NWO. Okay, I'd rather be a reality deviant because that seems like a lot more fun.
Mage the podcast brought up the Men in Black movie and said that when that came out back in the day, all these mage players all of a sudden started wanting to play as technocrats because Men in Black was a good movie. But for every evil alien there was in Men in Black, there were just as many aliens that were just trying to live their lives away from the Men in Black.
Exactly.
Because like the tentacle alien that gives birth in the back of the car, she's not trying to hurt anybody. The guy that's in the robot man who says Orion's belt, he's keeping to himself. The flea people inside of Agent J's locker.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's just as many vampires, werewolves, and mages out there that don't want to hurt anybody and just want to go off on their own. If the NWO's whole shtick in Mage was that they were just trying to tag all the supernaturals and form a defensive barrier around humanity, like they were doing with the Freemasons and the Knights Templar, I would have no issues with these guys. I would say that these guys are virtuous in the World of Darkness, but because they want to control humanity to this extent and just destroy culture, destroy unique identities, and their idea of mass ascension, I'm sorry, but this is a villain faction.
They are.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not bad than Nefandi, but you have to try to be worse than Nefandi. You have to try hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is a high bar to try and clear, but the New World Order pretty much have a stranglehold on information and, well, they're basically the technocratic PR guys. They can make you believe whatever they want you to believe.
Mm-hmm.
The New World Order is all about... What? No, sorry. The New World Order is all about just control to the highest degree possible. That's what they want. Control.
Just stamp out all individuality, anything threatening to the establishment, anything that can change the establishment. If they don't have a say over it, it can exist.
Basically, yes.
And on the surface, the whole idea of protecting humanity from the things that go bump in the night. On the surface, that's like, yeah, you kind of got a point, but when you start scratching at that, it's like, oh, you guys are assholes.
You guys,
basically, yes.
What were you trying to kill the changelings for?
These would actually fuck over the world irreparably.
Yeah,
that will cause a apocalypse scenario if that happens.
They point over to the Red Caps, the Slua, the Unseelie Court, the Shadow Court.
Those need to actually say, no matter how people try to portray that, the Shadow Court needs to go.
The Shadow Court does need to go, but everything else is fine.
It's like, okay, you got me there, but what about everything else? Points at the vampires eating people, the followers of Set, the fucking Zamitzi, Red Talons.
Hold on, wait, good point. Who's gonna stop them?
Me. With a shotgun.
Yes.
They got hands though.
And I got a shotgun.
Let me prove it. Do their job. Just let them do that.
Yeah, but enough shitting on the New World Order, because the New World Order in the books try to portray it as yes, it's just a subjugation mission. Like, no, there's a reason why we don't poke every vampire city. There's a reason why we don't antagonize every werewolf thing. We will get our shit stopped in. The reason why we're beating the traditions so easily is because we outnumber them severely. If the other factions get involved, we will probably start losing.
They're also looking at like groups like the Camarilla, and they're saying that the Camarilla is containing the vampire threat for them, and they can just take their hands off vampires. They look at the Veru Nation. They say you're fine. You're too busy fighting each other to do anything to us. And then the 9 traditions are the 9 traditions. They're never going to accomplish anything. Because
the Technocracy have a pretty decent way of keeping themselves together, even if it's just by the New World Order keeping them. The 9 mystic traditions are basically the epitome of herding cats in political form.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, the fucking New World Order. My bad. The Technocracy is no better because how do I put this here? Yeah. Both the traditions and the Technocracy are basically a bunch of cats trying to get their ideology as the main focus of the group, but the new Technocracy is better at handling it.
But you look at their ideas of mass ascension though, and the New World Order's idea of one people, one identity. It does align with the Syndicate's idea of mass ascension of one global currency, and that currency being cashless, and that's what they want. So actually, the Syndicate might be winning more than the New World Order is in 2025.
They have all the money. Of course, they're winning.
They're winning. Starbucks doesn't take cash anymore. You have to use card over there.
Good thing I don't really Starbucks. I don't like coffee.
I don't go to Starbucks. I don't drink coffee.
Eventually, everyone going to a 7-Eleven are going to say they're cashless.
They don't take cash. That is so.
I thought 7-Eleven was going bankrupt.
I hope not. I love that gas station.
You said in the other episode. I thought.
No, it's my favorite gas station.
Oh, okay.
I said they were going to get bought by Circle K, but then that deal fell through.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, Wawa's better. But okay.
Well,
now then, correct me if I'm wrong here. To talk about the New World Order, every faction has their rankings. And how the New World Order ranks itself is by the color of your suits.
Yes, they have the black suits, the gray suits, and the white suits. So, Kyle, that picture that Victor just posted of the Smiths.
Wait, yep.
Yeah, in studio notes. That is your basic cannon fodder amongst New World Order. Where, have you seen a Matrix movie?
Yes, I have.
Then you know how the New World Order fights.
Yep. With kung fu and guns, which means
that
I'm going to have a good time.
No, you think you're joking. No, I've seen the stats for those things, or the Mage 20 book. That's how they're statted out.
That is how they're statted out. You watch one Matrix movie, you know how to run these guys.
In fact, it is theorized that the New World Order puts out movies like The Matrix, all those weird kung fu movies with all the movie physics and kung fu stuff they do, just so they can do it themselves.
Yeah, so
that's actually how it works. That's how they're able to get clones.
That's how consensus works. Like, you need to get the public to believe that you can do this for you to do this.
That's why they put the "don't do this at home" kids, but while they're doing it.
Because, Kyle, if you look at somebody do something in the street and you say, "Hey, I don't think that's possible," that causes paradox. And or if you identify the magic as magic and it's not stage magic, that also causes paradox.
That's why the mages have to bullshit their way around reality so they can do all their cool lightning.
It's a shame you can't just use your blood to alter reality at will. It's a shame.
And then every Mage Ascension game comes a fucking slog because the storyteller keeps you in public the entire game where you can't cast your spells.
You have to be creative with a mage game. You use your mind. It really focuses on the player to actually be creative.
And with the suits, the men in black, the MIB, these are your standard fare operatives. They're just going around. We should probably talk about them as a whole, the operatives.
Yeah. You want to know a fun fact about the suits before we go on further into them?
Tell me.
Some of those suits are not human. Those are, let me think here, gray sludge constructs. Yeah, that's another reason why the New World Order is so terrifying.
75% of all men in black are constructs. They're men going in test tubes. They look 21. They're actually 3.
That's funny.
And they have a whole. Kyle, I sent you the page on the operatives, right? It's page 26 in the New World Order book.
I believe so. Well, there's front lines, but
yes. And Kyle, you are familiar with Hitman.
I'm familiar. I haven't played them.
It's basically that too. That's also New World Order.
Everything's New World Order, it seems.
Where you get a guy, you clone him. He has the barcode in the back of his head. You then put him through training in virtual reality for 3 years, where you educate him, you teach him how to speak, you teach him all these basic combat, and in 3 years you have a perfect agent who can help set up your laws, make sure that nobody finds out that you exist, and can organize a team to kill a werewolf.
Well, or at least attempt to.
Yes. You remember when we were playing Hunter Reckoning on Fridays, that's what killed Larry Cooper in our Hunter game. That
makes perfect sense, actually.
Where he got surrounded by Men in Black agents that weren't flinching when he shot them, and he eventually got gunned down in the middle of the street. And that's what ended up happening with him. So, Kyle, you see that the operatives?
I've seen operatives. There you are.
Yeah. Did you have a chance to go through this book before we started?
I did, actually. It took me all freaking day, but I did. But for the operatives, let me get there. So the operatives in the New World Order are mostly, used for espionage. Pretty much every New World Order operative is going to start as a quote-unquote black suit. Black suit's work is usually standard for starting assignments. Most, but not all of them, are constructs. But the most common activities for this particular lot is going to be, capture or destruction of reality deviants, and that can include anything from traditionalists to marauders to cryptozoological specimens, supernatural entities, and demonic manifestations. Good fucking luck, I will say. That's not going to go well for you. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I don't believe in you.
Yes. Psychological mandates of the masses have the psychic means to actively ignore some reality criminals, which makes their work a little bit easier and a little bit more suited for the work of the starting assignments. Men in Black usually police the front lines of the New World Order's front, and because of how their appearance, like you said, they all look like Mr. Smith, so a lot of people will confuse them for just government agencies, which allows people to sort of like excuse some of the weird things that might go on, some of the magic they might use, and prevent paradox. Once that a New World Order operative undergoes a certain level of mission completion, they can eventually be promoted to a gray suit. Gray suits are assassins, impersonators, thieves, and saboteurs, mostly assigned to infiltration missions to the dens of reality deviants, a chantry, a coterie, a cairn, whatever. If is their job to get in, and they usually start as recon. The recon is not possible without an intelligence analyst. The intelligence analyst's job is to organize and interpret the data that they find when they are out in the field. And they also act as the intermediaries between the unit leaders of operatives. And then at the top of it all, you have master operatives, the men in white. They are responsible for overall security for Horizon constructs, ideological conformity, and the regional reports, which do get passed upwards to the Ivory Tower.
Mm-hmm. Where a good example I have of this is, Kyle, you're familiar with Fallout 4, right?
Kind of. I mean, I didn't play a whole lot of it, but you know.
Did you get to the point where you met the Courser?
But actually, no, I barely played any Fallout 4. I did not play that game a lot.
Well, those are the synthetic men that are going around hunting down, bagging, and dragging back other synthetic men that have gotten lost, is what they're doing. And you encounter them, and I'm assuming the men in white are going to be super strong. It's going to be the same level of power as the Coursers, or what was that? The Matrix Revolution. And you have the guys like the nappy white dreads and the white suits.
Yeah.
Oh, those weird ghost dudes.
Oh, right.
Basically,
I remember those. Those were.
It's about what the size of it is.
Yeah, that's the level of power where you got a guy who's genetically engineered to just shrug off your bullets as you shoot them, and he can just phase and teleport through reality, and he shoots you in the back of the head with a laser gun. So when you see that guy, it's the same feeling of dread as seeing a hit mark 6, where you're not going to get through that. To put it in perspective, everything that Good 11 is doing in Red Cross Russia, she's a hit mark 4.
Yeah, she's pretty badass, I will say.
Yeah. And the hit marks 5 and 6 can do so much more than she can.
Yeah, she's good, but hit markers are disposable at the end of the day.
Yeah. Where if a man in white's come after you, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, you're basically saying, so this elder Bruja is going after you. This elder fucking vampire is going to hunt you down.
Yeah. If this is who you send after your party after you're sick of your table, you're sick of playing mage, you just want to kill everybody already.
I believe that's called a Hand of God in PC character.
It is.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, when the DM says a white suit's after you, that's actually terrifying because white suits are actually terrifying.
See, but how many times we've mentioned spy movies? How much time has we mentioned James Bond? James Bond would be a Men in Black. That's what he would be.
Yeah. Now I'm looking for this random thing. It was mentioned once, but there's this thing called the Black Knives. They were an elite group of black suits. I can't find them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see them in any of the readings I was given.
It's in revised. It's in revised.
Okay. It's a different edition.
Yeah.
Which one are you guys reading from?
We're reading first edition, the original vision.
Whoops.
Yeah, I was looking around and it was like, I remember hearing something with Black Knives. I'm like,
we're about to mention a feed soon, so that's when you come into play.
Oh boy.
Kyle, next up is the Ivory Tower.
Yes. So the Ivory Tower itself. As you can see, they quote Pink Floyd over here, and you've got what's her name? Something Valentine from Cowboy Bebop.
Faye Valentine.
Yeah, that's Faye Valentine there in that picture. Okay. But yeah, so the Ivory Tower. The Ivory Tower's job is to oversee education and administration and have the most diverse methodologies of doing so. They sort of act as mediators in interconvention politics. They organize the symposiums and report to the inner circle about their developments. There are 5 major pillars to the operations of the Ivory Tower. They are recruitment, education, computer security, psychology, and bureaucracy. So to start, we have recruitment. So for the recruitment strategy, they have legions of sympathizers working in universities and other educational institutions in order to gently guide people towards political indoctrination. Universities so far have been the best place for recruiting, with a lot of disaffected youth with young, open minds looking to make the world a better place, opts for exceptional amounts of brainwashing and psychological entrainment. And then you have, very closely in the same sphere, education. The transfer of ideas from the New World Order and the colonization of the mind using tactics such as sleep teaching, subliminal broadcasting, and even virtual reality communication. Do you want to get converted to being, a New World Order member in a furry VR chat? Good luck.
Yes.
No, that's a different room entirely. That's for torture.
Get the gif of like the 2-minute hate, and the caption is just like New World Order admin furry roleplay chat does not exist.
Yep.
Well,
Hi,
here,
what do you
also,
do for a
John,
living?
John, I got a question for you. Do you have the Gods and Monsters book?
Oh, yes, I
Not
do,
on me right
actually.
now.
All I'm saying here, there's something called an Atlas unit, and that could very much so potentially be in that facility.
Oh dear
Well,
God!
You know what I was talking about, Cole. Those things are
super
fucking
Hitman.
nasty.
Oh no. Okay. So
And what is that on the Ivory Towers or
no. There's quite a bit more to cover. So in these educational spheres, you have collegiums, sanctuaries of academia that handle the information storage for all of the conventions. This is more the computer security part of it, is the collegiums. Their job is to prevent hacks from virtual adepts, and most security are former adepts, actually, under social conversion. And they also collaborate with the cybernauts and void engineers in order to strengthen their cybersecurity. Moving on from that, we also have psychologists who are invaluable in the war against reality deviants.
L. Ron Hubbard has entered the chat.
Yes. Their goal is to process the psychological profiles of sleepers and mages in order to target the most vulnerable to indoctrination and entrainment. Their abilities to process the minds and access technological devices that enable them to assist with social conditioning. They alter the belief systems within an individual and basically turn themselves into reality programmers. Some people, the more jaded members of the NWO, say that the bureaucracy and admin are, basically punishments and nobody wants to be there. But bureaucracy and admin are the largest sections of the NWO for a very important reason. It is all the little cogs in the machine that help it all run smoothly and help the NWO maintain its position of leadership. If it weren't for the bureaucracy and administration, the intelligence analysts wouldn't have any data in order to inform the operatives, and they would basically just be left completely hamstrung. It mentions many times, knowledge is power, and that is no more true than within the New World Order.
But you notice that with how they're phrasing this, the NWO's Ivory Tower is the one pulling all the strings with the Technocratic Union.
Yes.
This is Big Brother, and if you did not have the Ivory Tower, you would not have a Technocracy, because these are the guys that are making sure this operation is actually working. This is your Department of Government Efficiency with the Ivory Tower.
They're the tent pole holding this whole thing up.
Yes.
Look,
and the wood is rotted.
You have to hear us out. Hear us out. Fucking progenitors over there keep trying to make zombie viruses. We have to keep them in control.
They want to do the 40K virus bomb is what they want to do.
No, one of those fuckers saw Umbrella and they want to recreate that shit.
There it is. And we will do it. It'll be known as controlled opposition. Come on, we made so much money off of zombies. You want to do it again?
No.
Good old fucking. I was just playing Resident Evil 4 the other night, so.
And we will have operatives that use the Las Plagas and Parasite. And it will be beautiful.
I don't know why. The more I play that game, the more I want to go back and play like the cartel missions from Counter-Strike Condition 0 deleted scenes.
Yeah, we don't even need the Defiler Worm anymore with the progenitors.
No,
we don't even need that. But
hold on now. Maybe.
But Kyle, I've told you that my favorite game of all time is Killer 7.
Yes. I need to finish it, but I don't know if it works on Linux.
See, what I'm going to say is going to be like spoiler territory, but this game is 20 years old. I'm going to say this anyway. When you get to the second to last mission, you're inside of an elementary school, the entire mission. And it's before the election happens. You enter this room, you enter the auditorium, and it's filled with polling machines. And then the voices inside your head say, did you know that the actual strongest man in America is the Secretary of Education? And he says, just think, how many polling places are public schools or universities? And think about where you have to go to be a politician. You have to go through a school first. And then after you graduate from that school, then you go through the whole sorority business, and then you finally get accepted into politics, but you have to have certain degrees where you have to go through education to become a politician. You have to go through education to become elected as a politician. So they said that the whole conspiracy was that the Department of whoever controls the Department of Education in America controls all of America. And you have an argument there. You have an argument.
That is actually an excellent point.
And you look over at the Ivory Tower, they have your schools. They have universities. All the curriculum, it's written by them. What you're allowed to learn in school and history, it's written by them. Your science is written by them. Your math, your English, what books are considered important, what art is considered valuable. These people are controlling entire cultures of countries with this. You see how ludicrously powerful this faction is.
Yeah, that's true.
Because even if the traditions or the werewolves or the vampires fight and kill a technocrat and liberate a city from technocrat control, you can't remove that out of the people, because the people have been taught what to believe from the schools that the NWO has set up. So, in a way, all of your efforts against these guys, it's going to be pointless, because somebody else is just going to rise up and replace the technocrat that you just killed. Behold, the nihilism of the World of Darkness. You've created a faction that's super strong.
Well, yeah.
Can we also talk about this picture with the camera?
It is very good. That's a great picture there.
You drew the hands so well. It's so hard to draw hands, and you did this. You have the werewolf in the aperture of the camera. You kept the font symmetrical, the expression behind it. Oh, it's so good. It's just the NWO book.
That is
so
probably
good.
the best artwork I have seen in the World of Darkness.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh man, White Wolf just ran around and found the best people.
Yeah, they really did.
And then they wasted all their money.
It's too good to last.
One reason why I will always support White Wolf, because they did it for the love of the game, foremost and foremost.
We did it for the art.
We did it for the vine.
Yep. And...
Don't you dare.
I had to hit him with a classic one.
And next up is the Watchers. Now you gotta look out for these guys. This is the freaky part.
This is your waiting masquerade breach right here. This is your waiting veil breach. They base everything on surveillance and communication. They monitor for all crimes against reality, manufacture the consent of the masses. They work with amalgams to neutralize random elements. Any reality deviancy they record and then destroy through the power of information. Most starting sympathizers work on very mundane TV and radio and phone companies, and they only really partially recognize the role they play in the control of information. As it is said, the medium is the message in this case. But then if you succeed as a watcher or as a sympathizer, you're eventually promoted to a field agent. These are the observers, the reporters, and the lensmen. They properly document the missions that are undertaken by the New World Order. Horizon constructs usually contain outposts for surveillance over very wide areas. Anything a sleeper carries with a distinct magnetic encryption can mark them for tracking. That could be, credit cards, cell phone, car keys with a fob on it. Anything at all can help the Watcher track them. The Watchers are the key players in providing the intelligence analysts and the white suits with information throughout all reality deviancy and on the disloyal citizens within the New World Order. They also act as a means of helping Technomancers guard against betrayal for this. Then at the top of the Watchers, you have the Gatekeepers, who coordinate the activities of all Watcher sympathizers. They monitor the activity as well as sleeper reactions to the activities of the New World Order. The interesting word here is they talk about sleepers a lot. Sleepers are the people basically unawakened, people that haven't really realized what's going on with the supernaturals of the world yet.
You haven't even read the Mage main guide, and you may figure out what the term meant. Congratulations.
That brings up with the extraordinary citizens,
which is what they call sorcerers.
Yes.
Yeah. For reference, sorcerers is like mages, but they can only use limited versions of what they can. They're like blood mages, but even weaker.
They're like the kinfolk or the ghouls to the mage.
Yeah, the scale of Tremere Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, and the Technocracy mages are called enlightened citizens, extraordinary mages, extraordinary dumb shits.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So with these sleepers, they're going around, they're taking your picture, keeping up the tabs on you.
Yep.
Anything else?
But here's the interesting
They're
part.
magic narcs.
The interesting part.
The interesting part about the gatekeepers is because they monitor the activities of the supernatural world and the sleeper reactions for that, they also control the rating systems for the severity of the activities of these. That being said, they know very well that adjusting a rating system can alter the response of the masses. It's like having falsities in graphs. Having a graph that labels the number of attacks that occur per year, if it could be something like, say, as low as like 500 people, but if you make the graph look really tall and have the trend spike upwards drastically, people are going to think it's a lot more severe than it is. Meanwhile, if you make the y-axis of the graph really tall, and that makes the data look small by comparison, that's what the gatekeeper does. Mm-hmm. And they adjust the rating system. So at the very top of the watchers are surveyors. Surveyors oversee the efficacy of the war on all fronts. They coordinate the data of the telescopes, the space stations, and the scout ships with the expertise of the intelligence analysts. They take a look at all of the data, and they make sure that it all lines up. They're the bosses of the Watchers.
And Storyteller, in Revise, they have a sub-faction of the Watchers called the Feed. Is that correct?
The Feed, yes, that is indeed correct. Though I believe that was just their term for what is basically the internet.
Yeah, that's because they said, oh, the internet happened and the New World Order didn't know how to handle it. Bull fucking shit. Dude, what idiot do you think you take me for writing that into the story?
Bro, they made
If
the
that's
internet.
the case, then these guys are wildly more incompetent than I thought they were.
What, did everyone that was competent in the NWO die during the dimensional anomaly? Is that what happened?
Well, a lot of them died because most of their shit was in outer space.
You didn't have like a single guy that had half a brain, 2 brain cells to rub together left in his faction after that?
Yeah.
They also, they also have a base called the Horizon, right?
Yes.
Yes, the Horizon Realms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're talking like capital H Horizon.
We're talking about Forza Horizon. So, yes. So there are actually 3 main fronts they call methodologies. You have the front lines, you have the Horizon, and then you have Beyond. So with the Horizon, going to go back a little bit. The front line is the methodology where battles are fought in the world of the sleepers. All the methods need to be extremely subtle, and it's more of a matter of hearts and minds, conversion, psychological entrainment, all that sort of thing. Basically, they're strengthening the consensual reality paradigm. Basically, the idea is that, the whole idea of you didn't recognize it, but your brain did. That's basically what they're doing on the front lines is, gently introducing the concepts of that the NWO is here to protect you from supernatural threats far beyond your control. That's the strengthening of the consensual reality paradigm. The enemies in the New World Order threaten the masses with their vulgar effects, which is, paradox-inducing bouts of magic, seeing a werewolf transform into Kronos form, seeing a vampire feed in public. That's the vulgar effects. And therefore spread the chances of paradox amongst the sleepers themselves. The front lines are also where they indoctrinate a lot of their mages as well. They offer the mages the chance to undergo the social conditioning in order to convert them to being New World Order operatives. And overseeing the front lines is the Horizon. So the Horizon exists at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. There are Horizon realms and Horizon constructs. They act as the base of operations for the activities of the New World Order. Constructs are usually stationed in geosynchronous orbits that survey the masses from above. Usually one convention will be dominant in each horizon, but there must be coordination between all of them to be successful. They are also accessible outside of the terrestrial sphere as well. Mostly horizons are used for secure missions, for training, and the incarceration of traditional mages. Excuse me. They also sort of act as experimental societies for the perfection of social engineering when they do eventually complete their goals. They act as part of the primary defense of the Earth, and also the place where they built the gauntlet in order to harm the mages.
They take credit for building the gauntlet. It wasn't the Weaver that did it; it was them.
Yeah,
it's
these
like
guys are practically in league with the Weaver.
They are.
They really are.
We're going to talk about the irony of the sympathizers in just a moment.
What makes it even funnier is what paradox spirits are basically spirits belonging to the Weaver.
They are. And then you have Beyond. So the limits of earthly reality do not inhibit the rare visionaries that come out of the New World Order. The deep universal collectives permit some radical shifts in the New World Order's way of doing things: advanced research, maximum security, and the inner circle itself. They also house and protect allied alien life forms. So basically, just the Greys. Yes. Mm-hmm. Reality is often determined by the consensus of the individuals within it. So therefore, it is imperative that the Beyond needs to be full of loyal and ideologically pure individuals in the New World Order.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you notice with the Watchers and this entire business, so you understand that TikTok ban was not some sort of act of virtue, that they weren't actually trying to do anything with that. It was they're looking at China and saying that you can spy on the American people, but you got to pay us for that.
Yeah, let me think here. It sounds like eugenics, but with extra steps.
Which is why I think the feed is such a stupid idea. Where the guy, who wrote Mage Revised? Who wrote Mage Revised? Because this was a cold take they had in this.
We are looking at
they point out that George W. Bush was a government plant that just used 9/11 to his advantage, but then they dropped the ball when it comes to this.
Well, it's a large organization. You can't have one person leading this whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, I see. It was multiple writers. Okay, that explains it.
Leonard Balsera, Lillian Cohen Moore, David A. Hill Jr., Ryan McLean, and Jeremy Tidwell.
So which of you four didn't put together that you posting a selfie on the internet will hand your image over to the government?
I mean,
you have Mark Zuckerberg who outright now admitted that when you take a picture of yourself on Facebook or Instagram, it gets sent over to a government server that's then used for facial recognition software that the police can use to track you down from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, my face is already out there. I know I'm fucked.
You didn't need the New World Order to do this. The American people and all the world citizens did this to themselves and just handed you the keys. So you expect me to believe that the feed was this necessary, that you had to create this, that the internet was just untamable and the virtual adapts were about to mass us in through it? I'll believe that for a minute. It's because now with the advance of technology, dog, it's becoming so hard to do shit honestly now.
Yeah, it is.
Just try to keep their identity. Because even guys have spent their entire lives keeping themselves anonymous, like Mr. Medicare, have gotten doxxed and now have their addresses on public.
A little bit into actual World of Darkness lore. Because of how dogmatic the Technocracy was with the world, it's actually hurting them trying to advance technology.
Because you saw that they bit the bullet with Control, and how they lost control during this Avatar storm, and now they created Threat Null, which is the Borg from Star Trek coming back to Earth to wipe you all out. You create your own worst enemy.
We put it like this one here is for this technology statement is because they want to explain away everything that can possibly been any other reality even. They make it harder and harder for them to introduce new things to make their technology no longer vulgar.
They've backed themselves into a corner.
You accelerated too quickly, and now you have no real answers to fight the approaching Gehenna, the approaching apocalypse, the demons coming back from the abyss.
Yeah, and first of all, let me think here. Ultimately, the Technocracy eventually is going to stand at a standstill. Humanity is going to stop advancing, and it's going to be
which is when the Weaver is going to come down with her big bottle of spray glue and spray the entire planet.
Oh, with my web shooter.
The Lego movie was a Mage the Ascension game in disguise.
That's what it is. That movie was made off of Weaver money. And Kyle, then we have the sympathizers, the stupid civilians that don't know that they're aiding in their own destruction.
Yes. The sympathizers. They work with pretty much all three methodologies. They're because enlightened personnel are actually rather hard to come by. They work a lot in the hierarchy and bureaucracy of the New World Order. Some of the educated sleepers are just technocrats who aren't enlightened yet. And in all for the NWO, there's no reason for everyone to be enlightened. Therefore, they can serve in menial roles like clerks, janitors, cooks. Even in Rapture, somebody needs to scrub the toilets. Though it is the media sympathizers who perform a lot of the support work, and it's possible for the agent to be completely unaware that they're reshaping reality. For example, they remark about a story called the Karpov assassination. They had a sleeper agent named Karpov who was trying to assassinate somebody in Bulgaria. He carried an umbrella and a newspaper. His target was leaving the platform. Karpov bumped into him, accidentally dropped his newspaper, and then tapped the tip of his umbrella into the target's thigh. And a few days after, the target was increasingly sick, and they found an X-ray of a small pellet that had been projected into the subject's leg. By sheer bad luck, he had no idea that this was happening. Karpov was captured for a few days later. A foreign national he was followed by the Secret Service. They initially thought it was just like some incredible gadget, but no, it was something made by mages. So he, was basically tricked into performing an assassination for the New World Order. That being said, sympathizers can do their jobs, enlightened or not. They're used as plants without obviously being enlightened. They limit the amount of vulgar procedure that one can use, and it also greatly reduces the chances of paradox. They're basically just the unwitting, useful idiots of the New World Order.
Kyle, look back on what has happened around the world from 2020 to 2024. And there's your sympathizers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, there it is. I told you that during those 4 years, that was when I tried to get my life back in order, because I swore that some sort of calamity was going to come my way during that period.
Well, I mean, global pandemic,
Yeah. I'm glad I'm wrong. I'm glad I was wrong.
Yes.
But it didn't hurt. Like,
oh no, you're doing great. So
going back to church, doing confessions, getting myself back in order, getting an actual real job, and actually making money. Because the next time something like that happens, I want to be ready for it and want to make sure that I'm not going to have a year where I lose my checking account. I'm digging into my savings, and I'm seriously considering going to government assistance. But enough about me. So you see that the New World Order is in a pretty comfortable position, right?
Yes, they are.
Just take our hands off and just let the pieces fall into place. Everything's fine now.
I'm sure that won't end badly.
Yeah. So all they're doing now is just making sure that their appointed people are where they need to be. The other creatures aren't trying to kill humanity, that they're preventing Gehenna, preventing the apocalypse, making sure that they can reach the point where they can have the one goal, one mind, one people. And just making sure that Iteration X and the progenitors and the Syndicate don't lose the plot. The Void Engineers are the Void Engineers, and the Void Engineers just go off and do their own thing.
Yep.
They don't gotta worry about them. They're just
going off into space.
In the sandbox.
We haven't seen them in 50 years. They've been off on this mission for 50 years.
I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah, yes. And now I want to kind of bring it back to that point of, they were going to use the British Empire and then the German Reich as their means of colonizing the world, globalizing the world. What country do you think they would use today?
Either America or the European Union.
I'd say China.
Let's see, China. Agree to got an idea?
I agree, China.
See, I'm gonna say they were going to use America. That's my headcanon on them.
We've got the money to support it.
Option.
Yeah,
America is the best option, but likely it's going to be China.
If we're wrong, if you're right about the senior boom, then me and Kyle are going to collect that bet on America.
Pretty much. But then again, knowing the New World Order, they're pretty much pulling a Palpatine and working both sides.
They're going to contact the progenitors and say, "Can you please make these Chinese geezers live until they're 200?"
Basically.
Yeah, we can't lose all this money that we've invested in China.
I don't know. Did you hear that Generation Beta is going to be potentially the longest living generation ever?
There we go. Which generation is that?
That's the one that predates Alpha. When the Zoomers eventually start having children, they're going to be called Generation Beta.
And they will live forever.
Yep, basically.
Apparently, they're already being born.
Yep,
Lucky
that's what I
bastards.
heard.
Yeah. So there we go. I can't wait until I get to see the 5th generation of my family.
Yep.
I get to be 190, living in a chair with tubes coming out of my chest.
Good to be, dude. If I ever wind up like that, just fucking kill me.
The progenitors won't let me die.
Basically.
Just let me die. I'm too perfect.
Oh, this is what happens when you try to play God.
Ah!
Thank you, John Tron. I gotta go back and watch it. I haven't seen what he's been up to recently.
So, yeah. How do you get recruited into the New World Order? I'll tell you. You don't call them; they call you. That's how this works. Where, one of the most interesting podcasts I ever saw in my life was this guy who was a former KGB operative explaining how he became KGB and eventually defected to America. Where they go looking for guys that are top of their class in Soviet Russia that are super gifted. You got a 4.0 GPA. You're going to university. You get a massive scholarship. You're going to a very prestigious school. Eventually, a guy that works for the government approaches you and says, "We got a program going on here," and he discusses something else. They start checking your grades to get down to around 10 candidates, and they bring into a room and say, "All right, we're going to lay it out for you. We're the CIA or KGB. We like what you're doing. We're going to bring you in. You need to answer this question today in this room because we want people that make up their minds immediately. You say yes, you immediately go on assignments. You go through 2 years of testing where the KGB guys, he said that he was dropped off in East Berlin. And he was thinking, I'm going to get to work with this guy. It's going to be awesome. He says, I wonder where you're going to sleep tonight. And the guy just drove off down the street, leaving the guy behind. And that was his first assignment. Find an apartment within 24 hours. That's what it was. And of course he did. He found a 1-room apartment that had 1 table, 1 chair in it, and he had to sleep on the floor for that night. And then followed with 2 more years of field testing. Eventually, he finally got to become a spy in Germany. And then got transferred to America, where he talked with other CIA operatives, and he said, "Oh, that's your recruitment process? Yeah. Well, that's identical to what we do here."
That's funny.
And the other way you get recruited, you end up bumping into the the New World Order. My favorite story in this book is it's a reporter that wants to go into the supernatural and the occult. She starts investigating a site where she catches a void engineer landing his spacecraft in the middle of a field. And immediately they swarm him, cover a woman in a tarp, strap her up, drag her off to control, and say, "You saw something you weren't supposed to. You're either going to take the blue pill where you're going to forget everything you saw tonight, or you're taking a red pill where you're going to work for us." And she takes
Machines!
Yeah, she takes that pill, and now she gets to be a watcher, where she goes around taking pictures of supernaturals. Instead of posting it in a journal or a magazine, sends it to Control, who then get that guy's name, his address, and then form a plan as to how they're going to kill him. And that's how it works.
Wait a minute. Hunter the Reckoning, how did you get here?
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. You gotta love it because it has this whole air of mystery to it. Because how did you guys start? You start off as 12 Knights, and now you're at the point where you don't even you don't send out applications anymore. You're out picking up the best members of America and bringing them into your army. At
this point, they're pretty much just putting numbers of people because they pretty much have so many operatives at their hands.
You've got guys like AT334 as operatives, and that's your code name.
Mm-hmm.
Where you also notice how dehumanizing the language they use. We're not casting a spell. We're not using magic. We're doing a procedure. I'm not a mage. I'm an agent. You're not a civilian. You're a sympathizer. They
do that a little bit in like the last page that I have, page 37, relocation.
Yeah.
Where somebody gets actively killed by something, and then they're like, it's interesting. Like, I'll read this a little bit. It's funny. They quote ministry again. Yeah. Please try to understand we're helping all mankind. We use them a while, then it's over the shoulder. To Roland Casselt, Alexandra Takahashi from Daniel Smith Intelligence Analysts, Reconversion AT422. Well done. Agent Casalt, I am pleased with the progress AT422 has made. However, he has repeatedly refused great work and has specifically requested the promotion to unit leader. We are going to honor his wishes. Eventually, I'm sure the training you've given him will be useful. Right now, we need assistance with Deep Universal Collective 722. Agent Takahashi, make sure that AT422 has the data he requires for the final sweep of the station. We are currently assembling an amalgam of 3 agents to assist him in taking care of the invasion of DU Collective 722. We are arranging transportation for AT422 after the last stage of his training. Subject is now being prepared for next wave of attack. Our reality programmers are mindscaping AT422 in a virtual reality environment as training for his next assignment. Estimated time of completion is 1 week. Subject now believes, quote, Northern California Research Collective, end quote, has been overrun and will soon be ready to assist defense of DURC 772 for the good of the collective, Daniel Smith. And then there's immediately a transmission.
Mayday! 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 Please answer! Please answer! Please answer! They're coming! They're coming! Oh my God! They're coming through the tunnels! The plastic tunnels in the walls! I can smell them! I can smell their burning skin! They come from outside space, outside our reality! The gauntlet will not hold! The gauntlet will not hold! Low on ammunition! They'll walk through the walls of reality! The center cannot hold! They walk through souls! Maybe... Mayday, 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 please answer me!
See, Gene, you'll arrive. Hold on, we're sending a ship to pick you up. We need you and fast. We need someone to lead the shark trip onto the station. Look like you're going to do black suit work one more time. What a shame. He had such a promise too. I'm sure he'll make a great unit leader once you've managed to erase those independent notions out of his mind. I've heard about the flowers you sent to my apartment. You're so sweet, Roland. After we send in the grunts with AT422 leading the way, I'm sure I'll be rushing back to you soon. Good luck with the rest of the programming. Love, Sandy.
Oh, how sweet. Anyway, mayday, mayday, mayday! We're under attack! This is operative AT422, Northern California Research Collective. Creatures of unknown origin have breached our correspondence jamming and have destroyed most of the station. There are 4 of us left. We are arming heavily. We will not allow intruders in our midst. The center must hold. We must purify against their smell. Need reinforcements. Please assist. Please assist. Please assist. Please assist. And transmission.
Yep. You see how little they care for each other.
Wow, it's not like that's going to be your undoing or anything.
Yeah, black suit more like a red suit.
Basically.
No, brown pants, red suit.
There we go.
What's the status of the crew? Crew expendable.
There it is.
You got currently expendable.
So once again, with the New World Order, you are a stepping stone. They do not see life, they see numbers. And as long as we're hitting our quota for people still alive and people killed, and everything is fine. It's talk about relationships.
Yes. And they have quite a bit to say about everybody because of fucking course they do. This book took me all goddamn day to read.
See, you want me to you want to go back and forth between the two of us?
If you want, I've got notes on them all. So, just to start us off, we have actually, let me go back up to the top. So the lines between sides are really not clearly drawn in espionage. You can sort of lump people together via ideology and who they associate with. Though one can belong to a group, any individual will have their own perspective on how they should go about it. Guessing how to predict people and to manipulate them accordingly works somewhat with generalization. The rest you'll have to figure out on your own. Starting off with the conventions, just an overview. Conventions function as sort of a union. Each have different goals, they have their own party line to toe, and debates have occurred over which philosophies work best. Though it is assured that the NWO has the upper hand. The methodology of the Ivory Tower organizes most symposiums. also performs administration work between the conventions, though operatives will rarely work alone. There seems to be a link between morale and the number of operatives that are collected as an amalgamation. Starting from the top, we have the progenitors, the Gengineers. I can't pronounce this fucking word.
Pharmacopoeists.
Pharmacopoeists and facade engineers. The progenitors provide assistance in the science of espionage. The pharmacopoeists, they develop chemical weapons, pharmaceutical augmentation, interrogation techniques, and brainwashing. Meanwhile, the Gengineers and facade engineers provide the more genetic constructs as shock troops to use for the black suits. The Gengineers cloning provides a steady population of constructs in order to supplement their troops, useful for altering the appearance of gray men after a mission, making them unrecognizable next time they work in the field. They usually can use them to replace dangerous sleepers or even mages if done properly, though these constructs are usually blank slates that will require sleep teaching and indoctrination before they can be brought back into the field. The progenitors quite like the New World Order because it offers practical field tests to their work in genetic engineering, though it often requires the supervisors of other field observers or grays in order to make sure that nothing gets out of hand.
So that's where they get all their fucking disposable black suits from.
They clone them.
See, if you die on the field, they do what they do in Cruelty Squad. They scoop up your dead body, put you in a tank, and build you back together.
Also, I found where the black daggers are at.
Oh,
you
really?
found it?
Yeah, I found them.
Yes, go ahead and do that.
It's on, let me see, your Technology, Technocracy Reloaded on page 191.
And
anyway, continue.
What's the basic gist behind them?
Basically, it just says they are, if you took a black suit, but you didn't upgrade them to a gray suit, that's what they were, basically.
He's good at his job, but he's too good at what he's doing for you to promote him.
Basically. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
black suits are basically not the cloned versions. These are actually people.
So basically AT-422?
Yes.
Yeah. You are. They are very full of themselves. That's for damn sure.
And then they immediately get cut down by whatever the fuck just broke into their center.
We find out at the end of this book it's a rare rat. The rats always win.
The sun never sets on the rat empire.
The rats.
Sorry for interrupting, but basically,
Wait,
hold on. Yeah, it says it right here. A secret elite amongst the black suits. Yeah, these are just elite black suits.
They suck. Next.
Sorry, but go on.
Do you want me to do Iteration X?
Because evidently you say I'm going to love these guys, and I haven't found reason yet to like them.
So Iteration X, they're very thankful for what they do. You have the cyborgs, you have the hit marks, you have the implants that make it easier for us to control people. You have the telepathic, those little telepathy phone chips that we put in our brains. We can telepathically communicate with each other. We have, if we lose a limb, you can just put it back on with the cybernetic implant in case the progenitors are too busy. You can make you're able to put synthetic skin over the implant. Well, the progenitors do that, but you work with them on it. But can you please make it easier for us to turd wrangle you? You keep wanting to go off the rails with your technology. You keep saying that we're getting in your way. We're stopping you from going out and just causing paradox unabashed. Because Iteration X is convinced that they can end the Ascension War today. If they had their way, they just sent out all their hit markers, threw them in all the chantries and all the known traditionalists and Nafani bases, they could win the Ascension War today, and there would be no Technocrats or Nafani or traditionalist war going on. It would just be the Technocracy, and that's all that would stand. But NWO keeps saying, no, if you do that, you're going to send out all of our resources. Where are they going to be if somebody attacks us while we're in the middle of this attack? Or what paradox are you going to cause if you do this? And Iteration X just keeps refusing to listen to them, so they're constantly at each other's throats because NWO is convinced, for all the right reasons, that Iteration X could destroy the world if they're left unchecked.
Oh yeah, they could.
They could.
And they do with Threat Null. You created the Electric Eye, put them in outer space, and then the storm picked him up, threw him into the Umbra, and then he came back evil.
All I'm gonna say is it takes one Bane Spirit to possess a fucking hit marker before all hell breaks loose.
That's what we're doing in Rage Cross Russia, but it happened with all the other prototypes.
Yep. It basically was like the fucking Aperoids from Star Fox.
That's what happens to you, and you had a hell of a time fighting Unit 2.
Well, what's the closest analog? Would it be the Aperoids or would it be the X-Parasite?
X-Parasite would be if it was the progenitors who were doing it. It would be the Aperoids.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah, the progenitors are basically Umbrella. This is basically
the Borg.
Weyland-Yutani?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Skynet.
Yeah,
no, that's better.
Skynet works a lot better.
See, the money mages. Hey,
Yes.
everybody, I want to be the money president.
Yeah, the syndicates are the only ones that the New Order can't shit talk.
Can we say for a minute, just fuck these people in particular?
Yep.
Oh, no, they're raging.
You can say that all you want, but if you want to get anything, you got to go to the syndicate. They have all the money. You can tell them kiss your ass all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to go to them if you want to get your paycheck.
It goes this far to it states this very clearly in the rule book, 20th edition. There are it is not recommended if you sexually assault or sexually harass any member of anyone, you will be held to charges. Members of the syndicate are exempt from this rule.
There we go.
That's funny.
They have all the money. They can do whatever the hell they want.
I told you never bother me while I'm rich.
The precedent to punish the wicked has not been set because they have too much money.
Yeah, I love the syndicate for that main reason. They're such pricks, but no one in the fucking Technocracy can give them the middle finger because they do. They pretty much.
We're going to get to their convention book eventually, and they just come across as such assholes in their book.
Well, they are, obviously.
This is the Technocratic Union. It's full of assholes.
This is the bad engineers. The NWO used to be good people. I'm blaming these guys as the bad apple that spoiled the bunch.
No,
I think tracks.
I think they were always shitheads trying to control all of humanity. So no.
I will buy the universe.
Well, what do you think of the syndicate?
So the syndicate, the main coordination with them is usually through advertising. Watchers will often coordinate their media campaigns with the current sales through the syndicate. And, the one thing they do like about them is that they are very, very good at advocating conformity. They gather a lot of intelligence data on purchasing habits and preferences. And then with ATMs, they can help track individual sleepers. Their contacts they have a lot of contacts in the criminal underworld that can act as sympathizers to the syndicate. And they are contentious in their regards to their autonomy of financial decisions and are also very, very headstrong. It's good to, they need to be reaffirmed that the NWO is making the policy and they need to implement it. So they need to focus on their drawing funds and finance from the sleepers and, stop talking politics.
There it is. The money wizard, exactly.
Yep, literal money wizards.
The future, the business of America is business. Shut the fuck up and get out of politics.
It's the whole argument that Asmongold made saying Google's too strong because Google can just deplatform you or censor you when it comes to anything.
Yep.
So, because he had an argument that I thought was strong, saying that corporations had more power than government because they're controlling cultures. But no, I have my school argument with the governments. So. Yep. The syndicate wants to say they're stronger than the NWO. The NWO knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, but now it's like, you calm down, little man. Okay, then I guess we won't help you more. We didn't say that like that.
Yes. This entire mage convention is just full of bitches. Nobody likes these guys.
No, that's the point.
But you have to work with them.
I don't know. You find yourself another money-making avenue, like, I don't know, the Glasswalkers.
These guys,
no.
The
Imagine
Giovanni.
How fuck that'd be.
Well,
our context of the Italian mafia. And
anyway,
imagine a world where Augustus Giovanni became a syndicate mage instead of the Cappadocian.
That sounds actually awful.
That sounds terrifying.
That could have happened if they just left him alone.
But no.
And see,
anyway,
the Void
Engineers. Rarely ever are they found on the front line. Their main job is to maintain the Horizon Gauntlet. They are the security beyond the horizon, the security within the digital web, The sleeper operations usually don't require the assistance of the Void Engineers, and their distant patrols beyond the horizon just require the Void Engineers' static firepower. They're good at supporting the Greys and the field specialists, and they're also neutralization specialists that can manage threats to reality that originate from outside of the material world. Basically, they're just very useful.
As you notice, everybody likes the Void Engineers. Nobody has anything bad to say about them in any of these books.
They just want to go to. They just want to see space. They like space.
They don't care about what your day-to-day crap is. They want to be in space. That's where it's cool.
Rap Reds, when I tried doing a mage game, wanted to play as these guys because there really was nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, and he's right. They're not.
Yes.
To be fair,
even the Red Talons like the Void Engineers. Let's put it that way.
They want to send them to the moon.
The Red Talons hate everybody.
Yeah, they're like, oh wait, humanity is actually trying to leave the world? Yeah, fucking go ahead, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here, let me help you with that. Let me pack your bags for you.
Basically, yes.
And
let me stop you. A Red Talon player. Okay, I got cut off. Right there.
You can silence me, but you never silence the truth.
All the Technocracy, we hate them the least because they left Gaia the fuck alone.
They did.
Yep. Good old fucking Void Engineers.
Let's see.
Okay.
And then you have amalgams. That's essentially like a werewolf pack, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Are they still called amalgams for traditional mages as well, or no?
No, they're called cabals.
Cabals,
yeah.
Right.
It's a cabal with the traditionalist. It's an amalgam with the technocrat.
Gotcha.
And yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll go over amalgams when we go over spells.
Yeah. So, traditions. So, traditions usually much like the conventions usually represent a political entity representing a philosophy of magic and reality. The only difference is that the traditions seek to undermine the fabric of reality. They directly oppose the procedures of the technocracy. The traditions are usually like a patchwork quilt of muddled ideas, dangerous visions, and destructive realities. Although the main goal of the technocracy is to slowly work out the patches of resistance in the fabric, slowly work them out. Like, they won't notice if it's like a boiling frog theory when it comes to like converting traditionalists. If they change just like one thread to a slightly different color, nobody's going to notice immediately. Though they understand that the similarities between, other groups and their own, an agent needs to understand their opponent's weakness, both ideologically and tactically, before going in to fight a traditionalist mage. To start us off, we have the Akashics. So, the Akashics usually fall into one of two camps. They either focus on the strength of body or the strength of mind, usually one at the expense of the other. Psionic assault will usually work when brute force fails, though those with strong minds are much harder to manipulate. Showing weakness in the more primitive techniques can strongly demoralize an enemy when they've spent so much time working on their mental fortitude. So basically, it's a matter of gauging which camp the Akashic falls into before striking. Pretty simple.
You got Kenshiro with his 100 Fist Rush. How about you just shoot him before he gets in contact with you?
Yep. I cast gun.
Come up mentally.
Yeah.
I'm glad you changed your last name, you son of a bitch.
I might be copying Mage's podcast with this, but I do like the last two sentences in this. I have yet to see a martial artist who can stand up to an average chain gun. Perfection of the mind is useless and the spirit is broken or the body is destroyed.
Some think they can outsmart me.
Hold on, wait. Mind over matter. Let's test that theory.
Yep,
I have
basically.
just one that can outsmart bullet.
I'm glad we're all on the same page this episode. Okay.
May I do this list for chorus?
As Nietzsche once said, God is dead. And the NWO took that literally.
They look at them and say, look, we used to be the same thing, essentially, but you've gone down the wrong path. Faith could have contested reason, but that time has passed. That is behind us now. We need to create a future that is pro-man. We can't just keep people... we can't let people think that heaven exists to have them try to leave the world. We can't let people think that they're faith healers where to go off and become lunatics. We can't have this anymore. So we appreciate what you were trying to do, and you're the easiest one to convert, but we need you to put the cross and the rosary down and see that we're the ones who are in the right.
And then the cookers.
Yes, I'm ready to serve the one. I can see now that God is really in the machine.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Stay out of here, Mechanicus. Stay out
That's
of here.
basically what a celestial convert is.
It's what it is. Where, essentially, what we were talking about with, I think it was like the Weaver episode. We were talking about Ion with the Antichrist.
Yes.
You convince the Celestial Chorister that God can be on Earth, and you can make him with your own hands.
Yeah, God, the devil's greatest trick was tricking the world who doesn't exist, aka Lucifer in World of Darkness.
Yes.
That was my trick. Yeah.
That man's walking around. He's having a coffee right now.
Yeah, he's just in Hollywood making terrible live-action Disney remakes.
He really is. He's like, look at how perfect they all look. They could all be mine. And I can make them live forever in peace and harmony. I'm going to fucking kill you. How about that?
It's the sex mage.
Yes.
I hate you all.
Cult of ecstasy.
This just got sexy.
Yep.
I hate you.
Easy. Exploit their vices. Though they are erratic, so it requires some special precautions, blackmail is largely ineffective, though it can bring some censure and retribution from their own circles. Basically, just tie them to a sleeper that acts as, a fuck buddy or a drug dealer, and, that'll make them easier to exploit. But directly controlling them is incredibly difficult, so just use the sleeper as a proxy. Easy.
And let's talk about what's particularly evil with the Dream Speakers. You see this?
Yes.
How do you handle the Dream Speakers? Burn their lands. Start the Umbra and start slowly taking over their land. Buy the land off of them from the government. And if they refuse to take that hint, set the forest on fire or some other act of eco-terrorism, and then blame the Dream Speakers for it.
Yep. Serve the worm. Nothing can possibly go wrong. You're fucking retarded. We want a pro-humanity future directly serves the force of death and entropy. You know what? That sounds like the way we're going to help serve humanity and make this a human world. Fuck you.
You're a direct enemy of the Tenna doing this.
What was your whole idea of not pissing off every other faction? You're doing that right now. Jesus. This is what I'm going to get my Irish up for this part. This is what gets me about these guys, is that they say they're all pro-humanity, they say they're pro a peaceful Earth, and then do this shit. No.
They're forgetting that the mages used to be people. That once upon a time, you guys were in the same position.
They're forgetting that if that people left each other alone, then we wouldn't have to do this shit. But no, they had to rule the fucking world. God damn it, I'm mad.
The Dream Speakers, their idea of mass ascension's good. It would be good if the Dream Speakers got their way. But no, the New World Order is just godless. They hate spirits. They hate gods. They hate anything that isn't human. That isn't something that they can control.
But what is human?
Yeah. It's what they're going to ask you, too, with that whole wormish Gnostic shit.
What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets?
Yes. Yeah,
anyway.
I loved this is why how people I get that you want to play as the Technocratic faction. I get it. But to say that the Technocracy is better than the Traditionalists, you're outside your fucking mind if you think that.
No, they're not. They're terrible people.
Absolutely.
Just irrevocably evil.
This is a villain faction. You weren't supposed to root for the villain faction.
Can we get a Freak Legion versus NWO game? I think that'd be cool.
That would be fantastic.
Hold on.
That'd be
awesome.
awesome.
I want to talk about the Technocracy a little bit here, because I occasionally listen to Mage's podcast, and they had one of the makers of the Technocracy on there. Yes. And he said, early on, we were like, technology is universally bad. I was like, okay, I can understand that idea. Yeah. And he said, we were in the wrong with that one. Technology isn't bad universally. It's just dumb people are in charge.
Mm-hmm. It's the argument that guns don't kill people, men kill people.
Basically, yes.
I mean, that argument is true, but and then he says, like, we wanted to make them more nuanced. No.
It's that you can't make something called the New World Order nuance. You can't do that.
They're going to try and control the world no matter what coat of paint you put on them.
Yeah. You aren't vampires. You can't say it's just nuance. No, when you play with mages, there is a correct ideology. That's just what it is. Everyone is
according to
wrong,
them.
one is worse than the others.
It sounds like the same people who are trying to make like the Disney villains like more nuanced. No, they're not. They're not totally evil. This woman in a fashion industry isn't skinning puppies. She's not evil. She's misunderstood, guys.
You see, if Jafar and Aladdin just slid his penis inside Princess Jasmine, everything would have been fine.
The rise of the anti-hero and its consequences have been disastrous for the human race.
I miss.
Yeah, my point is very simple here.
Classic heroes.
I understand they want to make it more nuanced, but the Technocracy is very much so an oppressive government.
Yeah.
Sure. Do the traditions want to go back to fantasy? Yeah.
There's nothing fucking wrong with that.
Fantasy settings where there's dragons that could burn down your whole fucking city, but you could kill the dragon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Yahtzee Croshaw thing, where he made the whole point of the Nazis versus Nutters deal, like the uber fascist versus like the uber libertarian crowd who just want to like be lazy and just smoke pot all day. I mean, yeah, I can understand the need for safety and security, but I don't want to be shackled down to it. Yes. Nor do I want to just have anarchy run. I want to actually be able to make something myself without having to worry about Jeff with his shotgun next door eyeballing my wife and my TV.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yes.
It's hold on, you know the movie Order 1895?
I do not.
Is that the sequel to 1984?
Yeah.
Oh, 1984, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, 19, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what the New World Order is. 1984, New World Order.
This is literally 1984.
I bet if I go down to like the references for New World Order book, I would find 1984 in that list.
There actually is in this book. I'm trying to remember where it is.
It's referenced multiple times.
Oh wait, yeah, it's in Tradition Mages.
Yeah.
You are a flaw in the pattern, Winston. You are a stain that must be wiped out. Did I not tell you just now that we are different from the persecutors of the past? We are not content with negative obedience, nor even with the most abject submission. When you fully surrender to us, it must be of your own free will.
Now, everyone here, what I'm about to say is, fucking hell, I was gonna let you cook. Shit, I forgot.
Okay.
I remember here.
Let's talk about what?
No, I remember. It's the Technocracy and especially the New World Order, because we're talking about them. They're like Eberos from Warhammer 40k. They're absolutely terrible, but they did a perfect job making the most idiotic group. It's like they're perfectly awful.
It's so good at being villains.
Erebus, the faction.
They're so results focused that they don't see the fallout of their results.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
you're saying that your favorite.
Hi, you guys don't know me yet. My name's Cody Kaminsky. You're a Thanatos Mage. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I kill people that waste their fucking lives. Is what I do. The Euthanatos. The Euthanatos are difficult enemies. They have an innate ability to sense weaknesses with everyone they see. Counter magic is essential when trying to fight a Euthanatos mage, or have somebody with a lot of entropic influence. Disinformation can usually be planted as a result of the defeat of a Euthanatos mage in order to poison the well of confidence. You can usually oppose Euthanatos with counter-processing of their information. Killing a mage only delays him, but Euthanatos are rarely trusted by their comparators. No official procedure is required. Get their information wrong, and just keep their information wrong.
So there it is. It's fully counterintelligence. If there was a tradition that could take on the Technocracy, it would be Euthanatos, but they can't do it alone.
I may not know a lot about the Euthanatos, but getting them to accidentally kill people that actually are good, doing good things for the world, that is a quick way to get your ass on a very much so hit list.
I love the Euthanatos. I cannot wait to eventually play Mage so I can play Gertie Kaminsky and just kill people who waste their lives.
The murder mage.
I am so fucking ready for it.
I'm going to start digging into my PQ at work.
See,
Kaminsky. I came up with him a while ago, but like I never got a chance to play him.
I like him. I like the accent. I like the Brooklyn.
Thank you.
See, looking at
I based him off of Mel Brooks because I was reading his book.
Magical.
Except Mel Brooks never killed nobody.
See, the Hollow Ones, they just want to be left alone. No.
Yes.
God, the Hollow Ones.
They value freedom and individuality, but they'll sell you information or assistance piecemeal. But in doing so, they might also lie to you to just watch you get killed. Sometimes if they get pissed off enough for you fucking with their freedom, they'll try to kill you, but then they realize that, they'll just come back and kill you and kill them back.
I want all the thin bloods of Mage Society.
You just tag them and throw them off back into the woods. It's just not even worth your time.
Yeah.
You just leave the Hollow One there, come back 10 years later, he's still there in the same position.
Yeah.
Nyla's doing fuck all with their lives because the sun's going to explode in 3 billion years.
I mean, to be fair, this is the World of Darkness. The world canonically ends in like at least a century.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that a bit later.
The Order of Hermes, it's your fucking fault these guys rose to power.
No, half of that was the Celestial Chorus.
It was you were the chosen one, and you fucked it up.
Look here. They had a betrayal by the Tremere, and the Tremere had hands.
Yeah,
that's true.
They look at the Order of Hermes and say, "Hey, these guys are almost as alt-right as us, and they want the entire world to go back to what it was during medieval times. Cool, but our idea is better. At least it's going to be easy enough to convert these guys because they have a rigid hierarchy system where they easily fall in line, and the Order of Hermes tends to have this superiority complex to them, along with a lack of empathy. They have no real love for each other. So if you want to pick one up off the street, if you can convert them, just go ahead. Just go ahead and do it."
Basically.
They're also up to their next and common enemies such as ghosts, the Tremere. So, get rid of that problem. That's going to be an easy way to buy their assistance.
Yep. Next, the Sons of Ether.
The people that you screwed over.
Yes.
Yeah. This one's all the New World Order.
Yes. So sabotage is most effective against them. Either disprove or directly impede their ridiculous theories, bribe them with cool equipment that'll inevitably fuck up and won't work, and you'll get allies out of them to some extent because they use mostly technomagical foci. That's pretty much all there is about it.
They know this technology. They've worked with you for how many years? They know every trick they're going to do.
Yep.
This is why the Sons of Ether can't really contribute anything to the traditions.
I honestly
Besides them being a lost faction that has contributed fuck all to the Ascension War within 100 years.
I honestly like the idea of playing as sort of like a Cowardly Lion Sons of Ether, where it's like he's on the verge of just being broken. He almost has none of his avatar left. But he just needs to get out there and kick ass one more time and learn that all the theories that he'd scribbled all over the walls actually do add up and that maybe he can make a difference. I'd love to play a Son of Ether like that.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves the Sons of Ether. They're the most played mage tradition.
I have Sons of Ether in my Werewolf campaign.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
because
Vladimir von Schlock.
Let's see, have you read a book that has a mad scientist in it, or a movie, or a game?
I have seen.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, now you know how to be a Son of Ether.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I probably won't be the evil scientist from Metropolis. No, but
it's that easy.
I'll be Ben Franklin. How about that?
One of my friends accidentally created a mage character that he was going for a mad scientist but he accidentally created Dr. Schmertz.
Yeah.
Really? Damn. That's sad and also great.
Which is odd, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Don't you? A platypus?
Bury the platypus.
That can actually happen in your mage game.
That would be so fucking funny. Just a mockery breed that's a were-platypus.
These mages are out of control. Okay.
They apparently made about stat according to the stupidest bit of.
That's
bullshit.
That's
it's
bullshit.
just stupid enough to be canon.
Yep. Okay, the virtual adepts. I would love these guys if they weren't fucking sellouts.
This is my favorite mage
most
tradition.
rabid opponents of the hacking war between them and the Void Engineers, but they're pretty easy to sell out to well-paying jobs. Those that don't, most other traditions will follow a shoot-on-sight policy with them. But, the New World Order knows better. Their technology and their extensive digital knowledge can be much better used in their care, with a hefty paycheck to compensate for their lack of moral guidance. But if conversion fails, just fucking kill them.
That's about fair.
So bottom line, convert if possible. If they can't be converted, then kill them.
Unless you're John Carmack and you have a ret 10, then they're fucked.
They then start the other faction section. It begins with a quote from George Bush, where he says, there's a saying that's, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, won't be fooled again.
What we're looking at is good and evil, right and wrong. An Operation Desert Storm is sampled on NWO by Ministry, which Vic actually posted that in the Discord, which was really funny.
I hate people that don't look like me and don't pray to the same God, and I want to kill them.
All nations must come together in order to fight the terrorist threat. Now watch us drive.
In order to fight and kill the brown man. Sorry, the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. So before that, they have like a section called the bottom line. And it reads very much like propaganda. Living as a rebel means isolation, rejection, paranoia, and possible extermination. Compromise with the technocracy brings security, prosperity, and possible advancement. Remember, not every conversion has to result in a mage moving into a research collective and abandoning magic. If a mage restricts his magic and begins to implement foci, or even if he sells out a few crucial bits of information to guarantee his own survival, he's on his way to conversion. The opportunities the New World Order affords to former reality criminals shows the mercy and majesty of our union. Using subtlety to stubborn the slaves of traditional politics is one of the most delicate tasks of the operatives. However, most traditions refuse their place in our harmonious world. Most would, like errant children, rather violently rebel with acts of terrorism and pollution of consensual reality that atone for their crimes. Thus, we have constructed the tools of interrogation and social conditioning to ensure their safety. We have forestalled the genocidal policies of Iteration X to offer the random elements of the tradition sanctuary from the madness of paradox. Their political squabbles have turned the world away from our utopia to create a battlefield of ideological insanity. We must not let the sleepers suffer for the folly of the traditionalists. Well, how about you eat my fucking dick? I hope you get double tapped in the back of the head. Freedom for security, go fuck yourself. There is no mercy in eternal submission. No humanity in a concrete cage, little more than cogs in your machine. You seek to destroy the very institutions that make humanity and life itself special. The deviance from reality is a construct of human imagination, and your little technocracy wouldn't even be possible without it. You would be destroying yourselves. Fuck you.
They are destroying themselves.
Hold on. That just reeks of propaganda.
It is.
Really
I'm
does.
mad about it. I am fucking mad. My Irish is up.
The entire time you're reading that, I was imagining Shadow the Hedgehog talking.
I was imagining
Revenge.
I was imagining the Patreon ukulele xylophone music in the background, like
American cult. But you know full well the Irish government does not like the Irish people.
Wait the fuck
no,
up,
obviously
Sonic.
not.
To burn.
Wake the fuck up, samurai! We got a city to
We got
burn.
a city to burn. Toilet Bastards back on to talk shite about the New World Order.
So, the Satanists, the Nefandi.
Yes.
Kill on sight, murder, just instant murder.
Yeah,
Kill on sight.
They say, we're building stuff. They're destroying stuff. They infiltrate and corrupt everything. They lie to you. We're nothing like them.
Yep.
Kill them on sight.
The Nefandi are basically the technocracy, but more honest with themselves.
There it is. They want the people that are sleepers to stay sleepers forever.
Yes.
And want the people that are awakened to die.
Basically.
Hold on now.
Go ahead.
They're not that bad.
The Nefandi?
They just love Satan.
Hold on. This is one time I will actually defend the Technocracy. There's at least some members of the Technocracy that believe they're actually doing good things.
And they're wrong.
And they're wrong. You're over here making the Satanists look good.
Look, hear me out. My name is Johnson. I came from the New World Order. I hunt down monsters that break into reality. I never once invaded or transformed a person's mind.
You see the Satanist over there at least believes God is real.
Yeah,
the followers just look at the Nefandi is like, dude, you need to pull the brakes on a little bit, all right?
Yeah, the followers of Seth's like, my fucker, we worship a god, that's just destruction. What is wrong with you?
It actually kind of outlines that in the other factions, and it was it's the eternal Ascension war between traditionalists and technocrats, but the sleepers can't learn of any other factions. There's that collective unconsciousness that recognize their existence, and the standard procedures for protecting secrecy must be upheld or they must be extinguished. But we must also keep ourselves secret. Oh, maybe that's a hint. You're no better than the people that you're trying to fucking exterminate, you idiot.
Precisely.
And even further, there are ancient forces, quote, giants in the earth, end quote, who are watching and waiting for their time to emerge. So you also admit that your so-called reality deviants also exist, you fucking cabbage. Why?
You will lie about this and live in a world in your own made-up constructs that these things aren't real.
Fucking God, I hate this faction so much. They made a very good villain to hate, I will say. Yes. They did spectacular at that.
White Wolf knew how to make their villains.
Yes, they did.
You love to hate these guys.
I haven't been this steamed since I read about King Breweries and Telus computers.
Yeah.
I remember
really?
That
oh, wait, you read that? Oh, right.
Yeah, we did the 3-part Telus or the 3-part Pentex episode.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
That one.
Yep.
That was a fucking good thing. They ruined beer.
See,
as based alcoholic, I am incensed and appalled at the heinous things that King Brewery has done to the art of brewing.
The Marauders, the mental illness mages. There's no reasoning with them. Kill them.
Yep, basically.
That's
it. Universal. They're hated less than the fucking Nefandi, but everybody hates them because when you should get punished for throwing a fireball, I instead get punished.
I'm paraphrasing, but Iteration X will bring up Marauders as the reason why they should bring up the Pogrom, which is the exterminate all mages plan. And the New World Order keeps finding it harder and harder to argue against it with the more Marauders that keep seeming to pop up out of nowhere.
Oh, look at that. More apocalypse scenarios.
Some people who can't handle that much power.
Wait, hold on. I want to make a comment here. So you're telling me projecting all this mental unhealth throughout the world where mages are born from these mentally unhealthy people isn't a good thing?
Uh-oh.
It's no.
However.
No, it's not.
Maybe.
There is one reason to keep these guys around, and it's just one reason.
What?
Marauders are always going to exist. And the idea
Marauder.
Kill all mages? Aren't you doing that already, you fuckers? You just subtle about it.
See, we would be better off if we had no mages whatsoever. Vampires and werewolves only.
I don't care whatever DM you try to tell you. No, the Ascension War still happened. They're just quiet about it.
Yeah.
See,
actually, vampires. So...
I love this entry on vampires.
So there aren't any overt hostilities between the Technocracy and vampires. They know that they adhere to a strict policy of secrecy called the Masquerade.
They're doing their job for them.
Yep. And among societies of vampires, openly proving the existence of fellow vampires to the masses is punishable by death. Although some of the academics in the collegiums continue to debate how they're supposed to handle the Tremere. They know that the Tremere also are practitioners of magic, but their extent of their power is very limited and very static, thus not really deviants of reality. And thaumaturgy doesn't really affect reality as far to what they've said. Current theory says that magic works because subconsciously the masses believe in the existence of vampires, as the mages pose far more direct threat than the vampires. Even the Tremere, they basically just continue to rely upon the Masquerade. Though the only thing that they are concerned about, however, is the Sabbat because they don't adhere to the masquerade. Although their understanding is that they are being hunted by the rest of vampiric society, aka the Camarilla, so they don't really try to curtail their operations all that much. They suspect that hostilities with the Sabbat would basically just lead to all-out war between the two of them, so just leave the war against the Sabbat to vampires.
Well, if you guys would stop giving money to Pentax and Pentax stops giving money to the Sabbat, then that would solve your issue, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, they chose that was a smart option. It's generally, I bring this up infinitely, and I will bring this up again infinitely later on. No one tries to get into other factions' business because that's a whole can of worms no one wants to touch.
It will be the Sabbat that saves us from the Technocracy.
That'd be funny, actually.
It'll be the Sabbat.
But I want to say something here to all the fucking mage players. You know how the Technocracy immediately says it's not going to be an instant win for us? There's a lot of vampires, and they all are powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Zephyr is just one instance, and it's not even confirmed that he is dead.
Yeah.
And that guy took like three
he
laser blasts to the face.
Yeah, he's smoking cigarettes with Ventru in the first city.
No, I want to say this real quick here. That fucker, not even confirmed that it was the Antediluvian, made the Technocracy piss themselves in fear about how this fucker is not dying yet.
Went off on DEFCON 1 and fought him for 3 days before he just disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, they're not very good at that, are they?
It's also with Tremere, as we discussed in the Antediluvian video. He's good for 1 kill of an Antediluvian of your choice, and then a Generation 8 vampire can smoke him.
Yep.
So
He's
really,
basically the vampire version of Megumine.
Yeah, you got the Tremere are the strong backbone of Camarilla, but they're going to burn out eventually. It's not the win card you think it is. That'll be Clan Malkavian.
Yeah. Yep. Keep him on a leash long enough.
That's a lie,
the
but
werewolves.
The werewolves. They're sure that they were powerful once, but they're a dying breed. They're anachronistic. They're fighting a losing battle to revive the spiritual world, mostly serving as anti-corporate environmentalists, though they know that they are capable of espionage. Although they have found some Garo, directly implanted into technocrat circles in order to spy on them. Though handling a werewolf with direct violence is very, very risky. Therefore, they limit most operations to just subtle manipulation in order to wear them down. By the current estimates and the rate that they're dying, it's unlikely they'll survive beyond the end of the century.
And they're still there.
But then again, neither will anybody else.
It's 2025 and we still have werewolves.
Hey, you were wrong, dumbass. Get fucked.
So no comments about the Black Spirals?
Yeah, nope.
No, they just lump werewolves together.
Ghosts. The only thing that Black Spirals love more than killing other werewolves is killing each other.
Yeah, they're kind of fucking dumb like that.
Yeah. I would say this about the Black Spirals. Because they don't care about the moral implications, they're not dying out anytime soon.
Yes. Ghosts. They rarely ever have to handle them. The Void Engineers are better equipped to do so, but just destroy them whenever you feel like. They can interfere with equipment and exploit the living. Make sure that at least one agent in your amalgam has spirit influence and can track spiritual manifestations. Overwhelming firepower is a very successful tactic. Simple.
Anyone say Ghostbusters?
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Fairies, they're not real.
Well, actually, not according to intelligence analyst operative methodology Daniel Smith. Yes, I do believe in fairies. I believe they should be exterminated whenever possible.
Well, Daniel Smith, that's heretical to say that.
Most data is contradictory. Don't trust them and do not underestimate them. If you see one, kill one. Simple as.
It's because the fairy you were interrogating was a puka who could speak in only lies.
Yep, basically.
Mr. Daniel Smith, I would like you to join me over here in room 101, please.
Yeah, if you could say all of the splats, the changelings are the hardest for anyone to understand for very fair reason.
They're built off a foundation of lies is why.
They're a rather peculiar lot. They're basically like eldritch beings, but fanciful.
And also because you had time to write the guild books, the waste of paper and time that was the guild books. but you didn't have the time to finish the Kith books. That was some of the last to be written. They didn't have the time to finish Kith books, Boggin and Knockers.
I mean, to be fair, as a Chansey player, it's very obvious that that the changes were pushed to the side for the other splats.
Well, I'm saying like the reason why they don't know about this is because the Kith books weren't finished yet.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, there's still,
and I don't trust modern White Wolf to write for changelings at all.
Yeah. And now let's go into the spells. You want to some sample spells? Let's go into spells.
Yes. What sort of things
not
can they
spells.
get up to?
This is the Technocracy.
It's a procedure.
They're called rotes. My bad. Procedures for the Technocracy.
So I am going to name a sphere of magic. You guess what they use for it. Let's play a game.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Correspondence.
Data.
Banana phone.
Yes, phone. Intercom and email. I'm casting a spell by sending an email. Incredible.
Amazing.
I'm a wizard, bish. They also use credit cards, cameras, cars, the laser sighter on their gun.
Technocracy. Because they use data, if you don't go anywhere where there's no cameras, they can't find you.
Yeah, just go to Africa.
Where the hell is that? Yeah, you gotta go to Amazon for that.
You'd be surprised.
Here's a fun one, I guess. Entropy.
Decay.
Television sets.
Calculation.
What?
Yeah, brain rot.
Oh shit, you're not wrong there. I imagine that stuff is uber powerful now.
Nowadays, they just use a TikTok NPC stream to catch the sleepers.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I was eating. Calculations.
If you mean transcripts and test results, then yes.
I would imagine taking that like 1 in a million assassination shots.
Let's see, forces.
A gun.
Guns,
yeah.
Death rays.
Yeah.
Plasma casters.
A microphone.
Voice.
They're able to take megaphones and cast like sonic shockwaves using those that scramble your ears and make you deaf.
Yeah, I read one of the revised intros. The mage that was held being tortured used his own voice to create a sonic boom with
that. Matter.
Oh boy!
Hold up, hit markers.
More guns.
No, hold on. No, that's still forces. Hit marks are all use matter.
Well, it's also guns with matter.
But you also got like super silver bullets. There's this weird material called palladium, I think it's called.
Yeah, it is.
Which is basically like anti-magic metal.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's incredible because it can fuck up a werewolf if you shoot him with it.
Oh yeah.
The life sphere.
Revivify.
Emergency healing, shape-shifting, pretty much changing your voice in any way. It's basically something really useful for a race.
Any medical tool.
I got one for matter chemistry.
Let's see. Just name a surgeon's tool or something you can find in a medicine kit, and then that's something they can use. Mind.
Oh boy, what the hell can't they do with mind? Erasing their presence, altering memories, making people believe things that are so outrageously not true that they'll believe it.
TVs and radios, subliminal broadcasters, sleep teaching, hypnosis, torture.
Actually, the actual original definition of memes.
Literal meme magic.
See, Prime and Spirit both share foci.
Well, the syndicate money, universal credit.
Now,
Prime is like,
yeah, it's what you need to fuel your contestants. Yes,
it's the espresso shot.
So here it is, sunglasses. You wear the Oakley sunglasses and it gives you magic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Go get yourself some cheap sunglasses.
Gotta love ZZ Top.
And time.
We saw Freya do that.
See, yes, you just need a wristwatch and you can cast time spells.
Yeah, basically you do this shit from the Matrix where you're just like bending backwards, avoiding bullets.
It's essentially
what? Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition.
You can also do that. Anything that can measure time.
Mm-hmm.
And with your spells, see sample spell with correspondence, the Dragnet. What do you think that is with that name? See, you reach over, and how this works is correspondence 3. Over a period of 24 hours, a technomancer with the assistance of his amalgam or collective is able to locate an individual or a group of mages. The agents must have some form of information about the target to continue to search. Dragnets typically require extended rolls. It gives a table where if it's a small town, difficulty 6, 5 successes needed. A large city, difficulty 8, 15 successes needed.
That's a lot of fucking dice, Jesus.
But this is Mage the Ascension, where you have as many mages as you have players rolling this until somebody rolls a 1. So eventually you get to it. And what
Ritual magic is strong in theory. Ritual magic is strong in theory, but it's sort of noticeable if you gather 50 successes over a course of a fuck off ritual.
Yeah. What they do with the Dragnet is that they use themselves as signals to triangulate the location of the person that they're hunting. So if you have 3 New World Order agents in an amalgam, they could find just about anybody. It's just that simple.
I mean, in a large city, they need to allocate 5 each for that.
Yeah. See, it's that's why they're going to send in the men in black and the gray suits for that one.
Yeah.
See, entropy they have a spell that's called counterintelligence, where we'll just take a while to guess what that does based on that name.
Well, counterintelligence basically feeding you bullshit information.
It's essentially entropy 3. It's a spell that stops your enemy from learning about you and grants you knowledge of the enemy that you're hunting after. Let's see. Forces is called monitor communications. It really isn't that interesting, and you already know what it does based on that name. Now for the mind sphere.
This is the New World Order's bread and butter.
Yeah, this is do you want me to read to you what psychic intrusion does? Men in Black use this effect to assist their interrogation. The agent may choose to either gradually weaken the will of their subject or to extract specific information. Each use of this 2-sphere mind spell will last for 1 hour immediately after using it. And if the agent attempts to weaken the will of his subject, each success reduces the subject's temporary willpower by 1. Yeah, that will screw you over if you're a werewolf player, right?
Yeah, a little
bit.
This
just sounds like torture with extra steps.
See, plausible deniability. With repeated uses, large gaps of the subject's memory that you're talking to can be erased. You just have to keep gaslighting them into thinking that you weren't there, you didn't do this thing. As long as you keep rolling 3 dice of mind, you can eventually gaslight guy into memory holding himself and forgetting what he just saw.
And you got the flash thing from Men in Black.
Yeah.
It's basically like that sensation of where you go into a room and you just forget why you're there entirely.
Or you could do edit memory, where your subject that's the victim of your spell needs to roll willpower plus 3 in dice to resist it. But if he gets no successes and you get successes, you can take whatever memory you want and modify it to however you choose.
Well, for instance, most humans have a willpower of 3 to 2.
And then we have my favorite spell, Manchurian Candidate. A 5-dot mind spell where you start whispering into a man's ear over a long period of time. They have to roll willpower against your manipulation and leadership. And if they lose, you can start programming them with specific instructions that, upon a code word of your choice or an action of your choosing, they will awaken and be completely mind controlled by you until their mission is complete.
Basically, you're creating a sleeper agent.
Yep. Yes, this is they're recreating the effects of Dominate with vampires.
That they are.
Yeah. Let's see here. Also, Spirit level 2, Summon Paradox Spirit.
Oh, do you want to just instantly kill somebody?
Yes.
Explain.
That's them, officer. That's the one who transcended time and space by having the greatest orgasm of all time.
What you do with Summon Paradox Spirit at level 2 Spirit, you just cast a spell, and then you run. That's all you do.
That's a fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, you just keep your fingers. You hope the Paradox Spirit sees the target and doesn't see you when you cast this.
That sounds like the nuclear option when it comes to a fight.
If you want to fuck over mages or Technocracy base, take a Marauder and throw them at their base and see what happens.
See, and then there is no crazy time rewinding spell. You have synchronized watches with the Men in Black, where what do you think that does? It's in the name. It doesn't do anything. It really does not do anything crazy.
Hold on, you line up your periods.
See, now let's get into the crazy stuff.
Oh, that was crazy stuff?
See, now, time 2 forces 2, Hail of Bullets. You remember that scene in Matrix where Neo stops all the bullets?
Yep.
Yeah.
You create the bullets.
So they all appear at once and just, like, shred you.
It's not enough darker.
See, psychological breaking point, Entropy 2, Mind 2. You give a man a mental breakdown. He has to roll against you. He has anywhere between a -1 to a -3 modifier on his willpower. You roll intelligence and psychology, a new skill that he gets in NWO, and you can essentially break a guy down to the point where he becomes insane.
Basically, it's the crash out spell.
Yes. It's the Fuzzy Tube spell. Phone tap, correspondence 2, forces 2. You guys listen to a man's phone call, essentially. See, red button. I want to read this one verbatim. Entropy 3, forces 3, prime 2. This procedure is employed when raiding the laboratory of a Son of Ether mad scientist. If the red roll is successful, the agent can find the weak point of the Ether Boy's machine and sabotage the device with a roll of intelligence plus repair or technology, difficulty 7. If he succeeds, the device will self-destruct within 30 seconds.
That's just fucking rude.
That's Dr. Doofenshmirtz's self-destructinator button.
Yeah.
Now imagine, what all do the Sons of Ether build?
Machines, robots, fuck off Gundam.
Lasers powered by nuclear fission.
Jetpacks.
Yeah. So, imagine how fun that explosion is going to be.
You better get to a safe distance, because if those things go off, when those things go off, it's going to level a city block if you're lucky.
It's going to
pollute the rest of it with
really
radiation.
It really is.
Local techno-terrorists bomb local city.
And you will not be able to step into that building for another 20 years.
In fact, you probably won't even remember that it existed.
See, and then strengthen gauntlet, Spirit 4, Prime 2. You won't make it hard to step sideways, but behold, you can do that. Great.
I'm glad. Very cash money.
See, and then there's an entire segment dedicated to mind games.
Oh, so, I was cured, all right.
You and me, baby, head games.
We have Daedalus Gateway, correspondence 4, Mind 2. The subject is transported by vulgar procedures, yet is discouraged from realizing that his location has moved. One application for this is forcing a cabal exploring a building or construct to take the same route repeatedly, regardless of the course of action they choose. You put a guy through a loop is essentially what you do.
Basically PT.
See. Imaginary Friend, Mind 4, Prime 2. You create a fake man and you start hallucinating that there's a fake man that you're talking to.
Gosh, Billy, it's so great you're here with me.
And then I can hear what the imaginary friend says and get information from you by you talking to the imaginary friend.
Your parents, Timmy.
See. Destructive Paranoia, Mind 4, Entropy 2, Prime 2. After 1 week of magical indoctrination, the subject becomes programmed to believe he is in a world slightly different from his own, one where his persecution has drastically increased. After the conditioning ends, the paranoia remains and lasts for the duration of the effect. You give a guy psychosis with this, is what you do.
Nice.
If you're not careful with this one, you could accidentally create a marauder.
You can just create your own worst enemy.
Oopsie doopsie, I made a fucky wucky.
See, you made the Malkavian's next recruit. Degree Absolution, Mind 5, Correspondence 4. A captured mage is drugged and psychologically isolated within virtual reality equipment to make her think she is in another environment. A servant of the Ivory Tower can then program a series of events to test any reaction and psychological limitation of the subject. You're putting a Lotus Eater machine, you're putting Westworld, and then they can just experiment on you in Westworld for however long they want.
Yeah, you just better hope they don't figure out this is a simulation. It's
the Matrix, is what they're doing. It's essentially the Matrix.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Alter Paradigm. Mind 5, Entropy 5. I think we know what this does based on that name.
It gives you ice cream.
It will cause a traditionalist to stop being a traditionalist. As you told me, Greed, if a traditionalist ever admits that they're wrong about their paradigm, it will kill them.
It will kill their magic, yeah.
Yeah, you're behold, that entire avatar that you were building up, it's now destroyed, and now you have to start that whole magic game all over from square one.
No, hold on. Let me correct you here. What you're describing is break galloping. It's a thing where you destroy a mage's avatar. What you're describing, is something that will turn their avatar into a Technocracy's avatar.
There it is. So
best case scenario, they become a Technocracy agent. Worst case scenario, they suffer Gilgul.
So why bother trying to interrogate these guys when you can just brainwash them with this?
Yeah. That's what they do. That's what happens in Room 101.
That's what happens, yes.
It's your worst fear, Winston.
Technocracy is a bunch of bricks. And I stand this on another fact. For all you people who play 5th edition, it's a shitty game. Oh, hold on. No. I'm keeping my opinion to myself. No.
Speak the truth, brother.
No. I will say this here. Because of how they did 5th edition, they can never put mage in it. End of story.
Yeah, there's never going to be another mage 5th edition. Paradox gave up on it.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
The release schedule is so awful. I would be shocked if they get it out by the time
remember when Werewolf was going to come out Christmas of 2023?
Yeah.
No, Christmas of 2022 is when it was going to come out.
Yeah.
See, next up. And now I want to bring up one device that they have that I think is really fun. There's a gadget called Schrodinger's Closet. It takes a Ret 5 to use and 25 quintessence to power. If properly used, the application of this device is coincidental. An enlightened technomancer steps into a building, such as a safe house, away from the watchful eyes of sleepers. As long as he is inside the building, any curious sleeper outside will assume that the missing person is inside. In actuality, the agent activates the talisman and uses correspondence to travel to the Horizon Chantry. Even if the building is raided later and no one is discovered inside, the paradox slams down on the building instead of the agent. Behold.
So you're basically saying, I'm going to hide it over here. Okay, where the fuck did he go?
You do the Scooby-Doo doors, what you do with this.
Like Zoink Scoob, we gotta get out of here before the paradox comes down on us! Raggy!
Yep.
I'm about to Scoob!
And then I want to give the stats of your average man in black. Strength 3, Dexterity 3, Stamina 3, Charisma 2, Manipulation 4, Appearance 2, Perception 4, Intelligence 4, and Wits 3. Spheres 2 in any 3 spheres that they're choosing. Backgrounds Avatar 2, Arcane 3, Talisman 4, Willpower 8, Arret 3. Is your average man black. Tyler Bassett, you think you could take these guys?
Oh, sure, bring them on. Stuff drinking me, I could kill them all. Don't worry about it.
So there we go. That is essentially the New World Order. Kyle, what'd you think?
Fuck them. Let me tell you, my son works for furries, and I know that Blake there said that he would kill furries on sight. If they come anywhere near my fucking son, I will make them all suffer.
Yeah. I will say this as a quick thing here. Because of how they did the ruling things, most per beta rules, most hit markers can't soak aggravated.
You just gotta hope that you have enough bullets for all those hit markers coming after you.
Oh, I got bullets, all right.
Because the ability to soak aggravated is a supernatural thing, and none of them say they can soak ag.
So Kyle, as heated as you got,
yes,
this is the least evil of the Technocrats.
Oh dear Christ!
It only gets worse from here.
Oh no! This is going to be another Pentex video, isn't it?
It is, but we're going to table this, and we're going to talk about Berlin by Night next week.
That I am excited for.
A different kind of evil.
Yes.
Berlin by Night was that the one with the vampire snakes?
That's the one with the vampire snakes in it. Yes.
Willkommen aus Berlin. Scheiße Fichte ist.
It's also the one that said if you killed your sire, it would cure you of your vampirism.
Is that
No, hold on. The 5th edition version.
Yeah. That's first edition. That's Berlin by Night.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
It says in Berlin by Night, if you kill your sire, it will cure you of being a vampire.
Who the hell spread
Well, I
that?
find out that's a load of shite.
Yeah.
I think there's some guys on Santa Carla who would like to know that is entirely bullshit.
If that was the case, the jihad would be completely justified.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it would.
Yes.
I mean, it already is anyhow. So
that's enough for tonight. We're done.
all right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you too for being our guest and
Yes.
GM.
Yes.
Indeed. But unfortunately, none of you remember I was ever.
What?
God damn it.